Hey everyone! Welcome to the Nintendo Prime Podcast episode. Hey everyone! Hey, welcome to the Nintendo Prime Podcast episode. Hold on. Everyone. Hey, welcome to the Nintendo Prime Podcast episode. Hey, we got some echo reverb,
and it's not Mike.
Hey. I muted mine.
And it's not Mike.
It is not me this time. Woo!
I think we got it.
Why am I on TV?
We're good.
I knew it one time. It wasn't
I
gonna
don't
be.
know. I just started closing tabs and
Yeah,
then
we're
things vanished.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
I meant to.
It's not a podcast
Hey.
without some sort of technical
Hey.
difficulty on our side.
That's how we do it.
Yeah.
All right. So let's restart this here.
Feels good. Though,
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Nintendo Prime Podcast, episode 61. I am your host, as always, Nathaniel Rumfeljans, Mr. Nintendo Prime. Across the table from me is the co-host, as always, Eric Moore. How's it going, bud?
Good. How's it going, everybody?
And then behind us on the screen, we got some new faces at the channel. First up, we got MandyLeePlays. How's it going?
I'm good. I didn't expect to be on the TV, but hello.
Yeah,
I like your set.
It's a very different type of setup, isn't it?
Yep. Well, yeah. Hi, I'm Mandy from MandyLeePlays, and nice to meet you guys. If you guys know me, say hi. I know some of you in the chat.
There you go.
So-
There you go. Got some MandyLeePlay fans in the chat. And then on the bottom of the screen, we have Unhelpful Yoda, aka Justin. How's it going, buddy?
Good. How are you?
I am really good. And then to the top right, the sexiest man in Florida, Mr. Mike Odyssey. How's it going, bud?
Going good, dude. I mean, there are. I mean, I'm not gonna say that there are 60-year man in Florida. That makes me sound weird.
Well, I live in Florida.
I'll just take it.
Fellow Floridian.
But yeah, I mean, doing good. I mean, been a crazy day, but yeah, I made it. I completely forgot today was a podcast again, but you know,
I swear you forget it every time.
yeah.
We'll literally be talking during the day on Wednesday, and you won't even mention the podcast, and then you'll show up 10 minutes late.
Yeah, man. But Nate is so faithful to send the Discord thingy when I see a little alert. Oh wait, yeah, today's podcast. Okay, so I always make it. So I'm good.
Whoops, forgot about that. No, podcast. Oh man. Well, I'm glad to have all you guys here. It's awesome. Thank you, by the way. Big shout out to MandyLeePlays and Unhelpful Yoda stepping up today. We had other plans for this show, and you know, the best laid plans just fall apart. That's just the way. That's kind of like a tradition at my channel. No matter how many guests I plan, and no matter how many people commit, you know what? In the end, I'm just gonna start planning out 10 guests a week, and if they all show up, sweet. But I'll just plan on 8 of them canceling, and then we'll be good.
Dude, we got 5 today, so that's good, man.
Yeah, well, there was at one point 7 committed to today,
7.
and then they all canceled, and then these were
right.
new additions. But that is alrighty. And I know in particular for Mandy, you have several advocates in my community because they've been begging me to get you on a podcast for like a year.
Oh, yeah.
It's been like a year.
Yeah. I was like, you guys, I don't know. But I'm here finally, so
So there we go.
yay.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get to how we start off every single podcast, and that is with what have we been playing lately? And I've actually been playing some things. Eric conveniently left his Switch at my house for last week.
Not conveniently. I actually wanted to play.
That's how you noticed it was missing.
Yes.
It would have been funny if you would have got here this week, and I would have brought this up, and you would have looked at me and be like, I haven't had time. You also didn't have your Switch.
Yeah, right now. Yeah. No, I wanted to play. I just didn't have my Switch. It was here.
It was here. So we'll just skip past
do you
Eric because he didn't
What
play
would you-
anything.
Was that Mike?
Well, we gotta ask you what do you have been playing if you had your Switch?
I was actually thinking about playing some Turtles. Getting into it finally.
TMNT! Shredder's Revenge.
Woohoo.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
That game is fun.
Dude, it might be one of the best beat 'em ups ever. That's how good it is.
It
That's how good it
It
is.
is.
All right. So let's go to Justin. Justin, buddy, what have you been playing lately?
I haven't played a whole lot this week. I've been busy at work. but I finished Yakuza 3 like last weekend,
Nice.
the first time.
Oh wow.
Cool.
I'm on the second one.
So what are your opinions about the game now that you finished it? What are you left with like feeling about it?
It was okay. I kind of like Zero better.
Yeah.
It's been getting worse as I go through the series. Not bad, but like
Mhm.
I think starting at Zero and playing the two Kiwami games might have been a mistake because
Mhm.
it just the
Yeah.
PS3 versions aren't as good as the remakes in Zero. But they're still good games. Like they're all fun RPGs. So
Interesting.
Interesting. All right, Mandy, what have you been playing lately?
I've been playing Fire Emblem Three Hopes. I'm on my second route. And some Xenoblade Chronicles 3 on the side, until I finish, Three Hopes.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's about it.
Awesome.
Nothing too crazy.
Nothing
Hey,
too
Xenoblade is
crazy.
great.
Mike, what have you been playing lately?
Well, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, which by the way,
Yeah.
super awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Just a little pitch in. Harry McIntyre, Nintendo Podcast.
Yeah.
Nintendo Topic Podcast, episode 3. Harry McIntyre, the voice of Noah from Xenoblade.
Woo!
Coming up in the
I'm excited for
episode
your
3.
podcast, man. Oh man.
Yeah. So I've been playing that Xenoblade Chronicles 3, just getting ready for the for the podcast, just like kind of get through it really quick so that I can talk about it. But I've also been playing Fall Guys. I rage quit on Nate's live. Okay, I rage quit
He
for
did.
the first time. Where I played like 3 games, and then like the very first game, I was like the very first one out, and then just watching all the way through, and I don't think I ever got past stage 1 on any of them.
Oof, that's rough.
None?
None, like stage 1 on any of them. I'm like, what the heck? I'm better than this.
Well, apparently you're not.
Yeah.
My
I was
alter
having-
ego is Simply the Best. Kept getting past stage 1, but when Simply the Best wasn't playing and it was just me, I kept failing. So that means I have the skills. I just have to get into my cocky alter ego, because
Yeah.
apparently that's the only way I can be good at this game is to just be cocky. So
I think that's the only way you're good at anything.
oh,
It's if you just
You know what?
cocky.
you know what? You. All right.
I pre-ordered the Sega Master System.
Oh, nice.
Is it 2?
Okay. Yeah. The second one coming out. Yep.
Yeah, I want to get it just so I can emulate it, so I can just kind of erase stuff and then add more stuff. Because I heard that the hardware on that console is good for emulation. So looking forward to that.
Nice. So I've been playing some games. Let's see here. We'll start with the ones that nobody cares about, and I play it every week. Madden 23. I won 2 league games
23.
so far, or 22. Well, it will be 23 in 3 weeks, but
Yeah.
anyways, won 2 of my league games, so that was cool. And then let me see, Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I'm about 11 to 12 hours into it. I know many of you are much deeper in. Gotta remember, kids,
I mean,
jobs, other things going on. But I am loving Xenoblade Chronicles 3 to the point that I probably am going to beat at least the main story. And for me to say that about a JRPG is a huge deal. Not because I don't love JRPGs, but because I haven't spent enough time to beat a JRPG besides Octopath Traveler since, I guess,
Oh my.
Xenoblade 1. I beat that one. Xenoblade 2, I didn't get that far into. Haven't fully completed a Final Fantasy or pretty much any other JRPG in forever. Pretty much since I had children.
Wow.
Since I had children. I have an
Yeah.
11-year-old daughter who
yeah.
turns 12 this year. So pretty much since I had children, I lost the time it takes because JRPGs take hundreds of hours. And
they do.
here's the
They
funny
do.
thing. I say I don't have it, and then I look at my Breath of the Wild playtime. I clearly can make the time if I really, really want to.
Yeah, man.
But yeah,
Well,
I used
I'm
to.
kind of a JRPG junkie, so it's just hard for me to believe like you don't finish them. I'm like,
How can you not? The stories are so good. You gotta get through.
they are. That's why, just take your time. People play it like they're in a rush Why are you rushing yourself playing a RPG?
I you know what I do? I rush through it one time just because I want to know the story. I'm like more interested in the story, right? The second time, more interested in skill, right? Then third time, I'm interested in more and 100% in the game. That's what I did with Breath of the Wild. At first time, I'm like just rushing through it. Actually, I remember I went straight for the castle.
Heck yeah.
Nice, nice.
That was
Speedrun City,
hilarious.
let's go.
But the fact that you could do it, man, I love that. You know. So yeah, the first time I went straight for the castle, that was hilarious. I didn't get past those
The Guardians. Yeah.
Guardians?
guardians, man. I didn't get past the. That's hilarious. Wait, I'm hearing myself. Who? It's not my fault this time.
Guardians?
Guardians, man. That's hilarious. Wait, I hear myself 3 times now, 4 times.
I don't think it's me this time.
3 times now, 4 times. Again.
It's not
Mike, I
me.
think Discord's calling you out here.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, I think it can't handle this many calls.
because when anyone else is talking, it's fine. It's only when you talk.
Well, no. Also, when I hear the reverb, Mike's box popped up green.
Mike, it's always Mike. No, it was me at the start, but now it's Mike.
Hold on, let me check.
It's always no.
How about
no,
now?
There we go. It's gone. So it was
yeah,
obviously
it's
you.
gone.
Is this because you're playing with your new toy, Mike?
How about now?
Yeah,
You're good. You're good.
No, I can still hear it.
You can, but we can't.
I can hear.
So basically, it's your roadcaster giving you the problems, bud. You gotta figure it out. Trust me, I know. It used to annoy me too. It took me like a week to figure out how to stop letting it echo like that. He got a new toy, everyone. He has now the same thing I use right here to run the whole show. He's got the exact same one, so he's playing around with it. Oh, no.
My.
Wah, wah, wah.
I have a USB mic. It's
Hey, it's
does the
simple.
job.
Simple.
Nothing wrong with
USB mics.
It's
Let
not
me
even
tell you,
simple.
we have like the super expensive setup and all this crazy equipment. Let me tell you, it makes me miss the days of just plug a USB mic in and just forget about it.
I still have my snowball somewhere on.
Yeah, that's what we started out at.
Yeah. Yeah. No, we were sharing a Blue Yeti.
Yep.
That was how the show
Aw.
started.
Yep.
I can picture Nate and Eric cheek just.
Yeah, we should have did it properly. We should have went right up to it so our faces were right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then get the best audio quality, but look like we're making out.
Get right.
But yeah, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is just incredible, and I'm gonna finish it. JRPGs, to Mandy's point, take your time. My problem is I have other games. See, I'm not a junkie. I'm not a JRPG junkie. Now I've used to play a lot of JRPGs, but I play a lot of other things as well. Here's the problem. I'm a content creator now. So like Splatoon 3 is coming out, and I'll be live streaming Splatoon 3 like crazy because people like playing Splatoon 3 with me.
Yeah.
We got Pokemon coming out later this year, and hey, at a Nintendo channel, Pokemon happens to be kind of a bigger deal than Xenoblade, unfortunately.
Gotta
And
play 10 games at once.
Bayonetta 3
Yeah.
as well. So like there's always games coming at this point, which is awesome. But it also means that, well, I'm trying to stay current on the news and current on the games and the opinions. I'm never, if it's not a Zelda game, because Zelda's my jam. If it ain't Zelda, I can't guarantee that I will dedicate enough time to beat it. But I will tell you this. I've already made an internal pledge that Xenoblade Chronicles 3 will be beat by the end of this month. So August is the month I got the time. There's nothing else happening that I'm going to be playing this month but this and Madden. So this is now. Plus, Yulia bought me Live Alive.
Nice.
So now I feel like I'm obligated to beat that too.
Oh,
So I gotta
It's-
somehow
it's
beat.
Live
I
Alive.
gotta beat both of them this month. So
it's Live a Live.
live a live,
But,
live
yeah,
alive, live a life. I don't know.
I like it. Live
I'm
alive.
alive or something.
I hate the English language when
No, yeah.
same
right.
words are
I like
all the
a
same,
live,
pronounced
live,
differently.
live, a live.
Live a live.
Live a live or live alive or stay alive. I don't know. Staying alive. Staying alive.
Staying alive. Anyways, there we go. So yeah, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, we're playing a lot of that. When I'm done with that, that's when I'm gonna boot up Live a Live, Live Alive, Live a Life. I don't know, but I'm gonna play it. Maybe the voice actor in it will correct it for me and tell me the right name. I've
People
never.
have been saying it's really good. I don't have it personally. Not yet, at least, but I've heard good things.
Yeah, I didn't play the original because it only released in Japan. So
Apparently, according to Google, it sounds like Live Alive.
but it makes no the way that it's
Google.
fine. Let's Google.
Google.
All right, so that is what I've been playing there. I also, for those that weren't here last night, I played Fall Guys for the very, very first time. I did it on live stream. We had like 37, 40 of you guys playing with us. It was sweet. And I wasn't doing very good, but I will say I was having fun, and that is what matters. Yeah. That's what matters most to me. See, Mike rage quit.
No, I didn't. I just pretended.
I didn't know rage quit over here. Fun. I was having too much fun.
It was fun.
Yeah, because I play Mario Party with my friends, and I lose all the time, but I always have fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I keep losing still, so I don't understand. But yeah,
it's all about having
I know
fun.
The feeling.
It's all about having fun. So
as long as you're having fun.
Next time we do it, we gotta do a play-by-play because it'll be fun with the play-by-play. Having two people, like two casters, and just watching the game and do a play-by-play because a lot of crazy stuff happening. I was like kind of switching cameras, and it was just hilarious what everybody was doing at the same time.
I remember when I had the camera on the person on the final one. He was at the very, very top, and everyone was way below him. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, well, I know who's going to win this match. Literally 2 jumps later, he falls straight down and past everyone. And I'm like, well, that's what you get for me calling you the winner before it happened, I guess. Yeah. Don't ever have me on your side because it's a guaranteed L, apparently.
That's hilarious.
Anyways, so yeah, that was a big thing that we did yesterday. So yeah, it's obviously going to be a lot of Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Hopefully one of these weeks I'll be able to report, hey, I beat the game, and then I can give you some thoughts, try to give you some non-spoilery thoughts on it. The only thoughts I have on it right now is it's very, very good.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I don't even know that I've left the tutorial.
I forgot a game I'm playing. Monster Hunter Rise, the expansion.
Sunbreak.
Yes.
Nice. How is it?
It is it's fun. It's like
it's very
an extended
Sunbreaky
version. Yeah, it's the extended version of the original Rise.
So it's Sunbreaky.
Yeah, I mean, some of the monsters have a change. There's new monsters too, old monsters. So,
all right.
You know, I like it.
Well, that's all that matters is that you're liking it. I played Monster Hunter Rise.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I don't know. I've never been able to get into Monster Hunter, but I tried it.
I bought it. Yeah, I got it.
Once you get into it, it's good.
Yeah, but it sounds okay. So here's why I think it's just a mental block that's not letting me get into it. See, I used to be an MMO addict, straight up.
Mm-hmm. Oh, sorry.
So anytime I'm playing an RPG that has online multiplayer that is seemingly an endless experience, I'm afraid to let myself get into it because I don't know what'll happen to my life, my YouTube channel, my family. Next thing you know, I'm out on the street by myself.
Yeah, with your phone playing on
with my phone. It's a hotspot in my Switch to play Monster Hunter Rise.
Your Android phone, no way to track anybody or any of your positions.
Here it is. Mike, you realize that doesn't sound good, right? The people, there's no way to track anybody. People don't usually want to be tracked, Mike. Right. Just so you're aware. Normally, you don't want to be tracked.
As any of your possessions.
Anyways, I still can. I still have an iPad. I'm not completely out of Apple. I still have Apple AirTags. I got to be able to track them. Anyways, by the way, there are tracking things, Mike. You just have to. There's ways to track things like if I don't know where my backpack is, there's things you can buy and you can track them with any phone.
Oh yeah, for sure. There's those little tiles. They're called Tiles, actually. That's a brand, right? Tiles.
No, that's one of them. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of them now. But yeah, that's one of them. The tiles. The only thing I will say about see, I don't like the tile ones, but there are ones that are literally credit card size you can slide in your wallet.
Oh yeah, sure.
Those ones are nice. I wish Apple wasn't just round circles, but sometimes they're a little bit thick. But whatever.
Got a problem with squares?
What?
Yeah, you got a problem with circles?
Well, the fact that I can't put it in my new wallet is a problem. Yes.
Oh well, you can put circles in your wallet. Why not?
It's too
What are we
thick.
talking
You
about?
really
Ridge
okay?
wallet.
Okay, you know I
AirTag.
use the Ridge wallet, right?
Oh,
The
well,
circle,
that's true.
yeah, it isn't gonna fit
AirTag,
in there.
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
You
So
can't
it
put
doesn't work. So yes, my wallet tracker's still tracking my Zelda wallet that's sitting right here.
Okay.
But yeah. No, anyways, no, I had nothing against Apple products. Yeah, for those who know, there was a big switch this week. We switched over to Android
Hilarious.
so I could have more YouTube functionality on the go. And it's
reasons.
weird because all the YouTube apps are entirely different. And by the way, you know everyone that's been telling me about the gray names in the chat, I get it. It's Android.
Yeah.
It's Android. Android, your names are gray instead of green, if you remember. Why?
So,
I don't know.
yeah.
That's a decision YouTube did. They obviously could edit the
What?
code and change that, but
So I got a confession.
yeah.
You got an
Okay, I
Android
got a
phone?
confession to make.
Oh.
And
Hold on. Do I have to? I'm gonna mute my mic for this confession. I don't want to laugh.
YouTube, I can blame YouTube for it. Okay, I really blame YouTube because this is the first time in my life I'm doing this. I'm not getting rid of my iPhone. Okay, but I did add a second line to my plan.
Did you
And
you activated your Android?
I got the Pixel 6 Pro,
Okay. Yeah, it's not a bad one.
and I'm like, yeah, that's pure Android, right? But like they call
Yes.
it vanilla.
Yes.
So I'm like, you know what? If I'm gonna have an Android phone, then I'm gonna go vanilla. I'm not gonna have anything on top of it. So
Sure. Yeah, you're gonna go with Google.
yeah, I got the Pixel phone. And I only got it for YouTube so that I can use the thing.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
like the one feature we get, but there's a few other things too that work a little better on it now that I've been using it for.
You bought a
YouTube.
phone just for one feature?
Yeah, for that feature that I'm pretty sure is coming to Android. I was gonna get a second line anyway, like another additional line to have it for business. But I just decided to do it now.
Yeah, like I technically I want two lines. Like I want I want an iPhone or an Android, and I want two different lines because I do want a business line separate from my personal.
Yeah.
Because I would
Yeah,
like to be able to
yeah.
hand like every time I'm doing these meetings with people, we're always like, oh yeah, can you give me your phone number? I'm like, I'd rather not.
Yeah.
Can we just meet on Discord or something? Or like, oh, and it sounds so unprofessional because I'm unwilling to hand them a phone number. And I'm like,
Yeah,
sorry, I
especially
know
when-
I am a business and I don't have a business number. I'm sorry. Like, and I
Especially
know
when there's
you can
two
download
products.
apps. I know, guys, you can download apps. But
Yeah.
I've talked about this before: separation of church and state, separation of work and personal. Don't want it necessarily all on one phone. I realize I pretty much do it all on one phone, and that's how I know I don't want it all on one phone. I hate it.
Well,
I wish
that's
this would just be
that's
my
the point.
work phone, and I'd still have my iPhone for personal.
Yep. Yeah, that's the point. Having like a separate device that you can just leave somewhere else when you're not working is not gonna bother you. But even when they send you products, if they send you products from international, they ask for your phone number because they have to have it for shipping.
Yep.
Yeah,
You have to have it.
so- Yeah, I had a box sent to me, and I felt so uncomfortable giving my phone number. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna get this extra line.
No.
So yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. So someday when I can put it in the budget, I'll do that. It'll be worth it long haul. And I think right now if we add another line, I get another line for free. So it may be one of those that once my daughter gets added to the plan, then maybe I'll just do it then. Anyways,
Is that?
I have no idea. That wasn't me. Let's get into today's topics. We only have two topics today, but that's because they're both pretty big. One of them, I have a feeling, is going to be really, really interesting here because I know that Justin and Mandy are on the complete opposite sides of
Fight,
of this.
fight.
The rest of us might just enjoy the entertainment. We'll see.
Yeah, man.
I'm
So-
not coming out swinging or anything.
Come on, haymakers
From the top rope.
from the top row. All right, so obviously, unless you've been living under a rock as Nintendo people, Nintendo fans, listeners, podcast listeners, you guys know that there was a Pokemon Presents on
Shit, I knew I forgot
8/3/2022 in the morning. We're not really going to go over most of the presents because I'm just going to be honest when it comes to at least my interest levels. I'm not really that caring of all the rest. Like, yeah, Pokemon Go is cool, Unite, that's all fine. Look, the updates to all that stuff is
Don't
great.
forget the World Championships.
World
come on.
Championships, there's a lot of people.
Oh, that did look a lot of fun.
A lot of people, yeah, there's a lot of people that play those games. So I'm not being dismissive, but for the purposes of what we're interested in talking about here, we're going to focus on the new generation of Pokemon because that's what they ended with, and that's what a lot of people were watching for. And frankly, it's what I'm actually excited for. And it feels weird to say that about Pokemon. Maybe this is just the
For real.
aftermath of Arceus. I don't know. Because
Yeah.
Arceus was fun. And even though they pretty much have put none of the features of Arceus into this game, somehow I'm still excited. Maybe it's just, it could just be because it's open world. And I've been wanting open world Pokemon since the 90s. But
Arceus was open world.
no, it's open zone. It's the difference.
Open zone, yeah. You
Sorry.
had this loading between worlds, between zones, and then whenever you go to a town, it kind of loaded.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. If you technical. If you want to get technical, it's I guess.
Yeah, it's called
Not an
open
open
zone.
world.
It's like Monster Hunter. There's a hub.
Yeah.
You go to the hub to go to the zones.
Yeah.
In an open world, you can just go anywhere, anytime you want, with basically no loading. Breath of the Wild, good example of a game that truly was open world. Once it opened up, obviously the tutorial area closed you off for a moment. So this is obviously the first open world Pokemon game. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet is what we're talking about. There was brand new stuff that dropped today. New trailer, new information. Now, some people could say not new information. Depends on how much you pay attention to Pokemon leaks, because essentially the stuff we found out today confirmed in many ways that all the leaks we have been getting are legit. So basically the whole game's already leaked and we're 3 months out from launch. It's insane that has happened, but we're not going to focus on the leaks. We're going to focus on the stuff that we know about. But I'm just pointing out, guys, that if you really want to know everything about this game, it's already out there. So you can go do that. We're going to focus on the stuff that was today. So there was a new trailer, which I thought was a very strange trailer, personally.
Yeah, the editing was weird.
Yeah, well, they popped up initially and they said, hey, this is like the text and the voice acting in here are not representative of the game. And then they did this weird thing and they showed a 2.5-minute trailer where they're showing off the new abilities, like you're riding the legendaries and you're seeing some shiny Pokemon doing the emerald thing, the tarot whatever thing. And all of a sudden, there's all this voice acting talking with interlaced text on the screen, which clearly they told you at the beginning is not part of the game. And I kept wondering, then
It's not?
what are you doing?
Freak.
What are you doing?
I thought it was. Oh man, I thought that.
You thought it was in the game?
Yes.
No, it's not in the game. No.
I'm
They
like,
warned you. They
"Yay,
warned
it
you at the
was
very.
there."
But here's the thing. That's the
I
thing.
didn't
It's
know which
weird. It's if you didn't read the warning at the beginning, you would think it's in the game. Like they warned
I
it.
read the warning, but I thought
It didn't click?
I didn't know for. Yeah, I didn't know for which is which or something.
Yeah.
I just thought maybe the graphics would have been like tuned up a bit. I don't know. Well, there goes that
Yeah.
thought.
Yeah, there goes one of your negative thoughts. Yeah, so look, it was a really weird experience, and I remember they got to the end of it, and I said, and I literally said this in my live reaction, please tell me that's not it, because I don't understand a damn thing I just saw. Because this guy was busy talking a bunch of bullshit that none of it really mattered, and I didn't really care what he had to say. And then all of a sudden they go into the 6-minute deep dive, and I'm like, oh, well, why didn't we just do this in the first place? Why did we even have that 2.5 minutes? I'm so that it felt so it wasn't even a good trailer. So whoever had that idea, I'm not saying you should be fired. That's stupid. But just have better ideas. Have better
Doesn't
ideas.
have voice acting.
And yeah, don't do the voice
Just
acting
saying.
thing when like so many people want voice acting in Pokemon and then you do fake voice acting. Can we just not? That'd be great. If you're gonna voice act, do the voice
I
acting.
fell for
Don't
it.
don't fake the voice acting. Don't fake it. Give us real voice
fell for
acting. Anyways, that being said, what we learned today was just a whole bunch of new information on the game that if you haven't been following the leaks, you didn't know, such as you could ride your legendaries, motorcycle mode essentially,
airplane
glider
mode
mode,
and,
glider mode / jet mode. I don't know. They call it glider mode, but I mean one of them literally looks like you turned into a jet. It's crazy.
You can ride your legendary.
Yeah, right.
It sounds weird.
And then you could obviously swim as well. So
Climb mountains.
Yep, you
apparently,
can climb
too.
mountainsides, which some of the stuff we saw in Legends Arceus and some of the stuff, in general we've seen in prior
Literal all-terrain
Pokemon games.
vehicle.
Yeah, literal all-terrain vehicle. So it's pretty cool. There's not really a ton of variation between the two legendaries, how it does it. One will spin the wheels, one will use its legs. Even though it looks like it has 2 wheels to spin, it doesn't. So whatever. I guess they just wanted to differentiate it. So that was one of the big things they showed. They also showed off the new, Terra something. What the heck is that thing called? Any of you guys got it on top of your head?
Terraria, Terruru.
Is it a Pokemon?
No, it's their
It's-
abilities.
The new.
Yeah, it's an ability.
thing.
Oh, the crystal stuff?
Yes. That is one thing I
don't
forgot
know.
to
I
put in
don't
the notes.
really. That is one of my concerns because it's like, what does it do different? I mean, how does it tie in? It just feels like it doesn't belong. It belongs more in like Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, maybe, but like
Okay, so
Crystal is like
before I
like
dive
it.
deeper in this, because there's some other talking points in here, I just want to get what are your guys' initial thoughts on the news that dropped today? And I guess I'll start with Mandy because she was already going off on, oh man, this doesn't feel right. So Mandy, what were your initial thoughts on the stuff we saw today?
She liked the voice acting was kind of I fell for that one, but
Yeah,
I
that's on
liked
you.
it.
Yeah.
I really did. I like the whole open world thing. It looks okay for a Pokemon game. The crystallization, whatever it's called, I don't like that. I
Terrastall.
don't.
What is it?
Yeah, I
Terrastall.
don't see how it
Terrastall?
fits.
Terrastal. Phenomenal.
Yeah, it looks.
Terrastall?
It's,
Terrastall. Okay.
It sounds like a detergent.
I think I call it terrestrial at one
Yeah,
point
yeah.
one in my video
Yeah,
today.
yeah.
They used like 7 different spellings of it on their official website. It was weird. Anyways, go on.
yeah, so I I didn't like it. I thought it was like if you're gonna go for a gimmick, I thought they were gonna go for something more, I don't know, ambitious or something. I did like, the whole setting, kind of Spain thing. That was cool. And yeah, I have hopes for this one. I really didn't like Sword and Shield, so hopefully this one kind of remedies that. But there is one thing, like the gyms. I don't understand like how the gyms are set up. Some people are saying that it's like they're level locked or something. I'm like, how does that make sense?
No,
And
they don't. There's no scaling. It's confirmed on the official website. There's no scaling. So what it means is you can do the gyms in any order, but let's say you're doing the harder gyms first, and you got your Pokemon leveled up for it. Well, the lower level gyms will still stay lower leveled. So when you get to them, it's like
okay.
So this is just suggested order.
yeah. So there's but here's the problem though, and this is something I wanted to get to later was
Yeah.
there's 3 stories
Mhm.
in this game, which is unlike Pokemon. Usually you got like your one story, that's what you're going through, but there's 3 and you can do any of
Yeah.
them anytime you want, in any order you want. Well, let's say you don't want to do the gym storyline. You want to do something else first. You're already going to be out leveling all the gyms by the time you get to the gym storyline. So I don't
Yep.
not having scaling is to me maybe the biggest negative news to come today was like, how can you offer these 3 storylines? We can do them whenever we want, which is cool that you're giving us that openness, but then you're removing challenge from the other storylines by doing certain ones. Like if you do the gym one first, are the other storylines also not going to have scaling? So then they're easier as well. Like I'm just, it's such a confusing decision to not put some sort of Pokemon scaling in the game, depending on how far advanced your main party is.
Yeah, that's weird, but
It's very weird.
Yeah.
it's Game Freak.
So Justin, and you're mega fan over there. What are your thoughts?
Yes. I thought it looked great. The Crawdon running, even though he has giant tires, was ridiculous looking, but like in a great way. The terrestrialized forms, that adds a new type to them. So now Pokemon can have multiple types, but it doesn't
Does
seem like
add
it gives
or
them a
just
weakness
change
to the type. It just gives them another
Oh,
one.
it gives them another one. Okay. I thought it changed it.
I
So
thought
like,
it just powered up their
it-
already
yeah.
but
type.
it works for everyone.
Nope.
Like,
There's
every
there's
Pokemon can do
18
that.
different ones, and all Pokemon can have any of them, but they can only have one. So it gives you a
Right,
reason
so
technically to catch 18 different Pokemon in the same one if you want every single Terra type
Oh lord.
for each Pokemon.
And competitively, that sounds like something that could be like really interesting. I did see Centro posted about how they confirmed on the website that there was no gym scaling, but I don't think that what it says on there actually confirms it. It kind of alludes to it.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I don't
yeah.
think it actually.
They don't
confirms
use
it.
the exact terminology. They just use a lot of
It kind of
indicators.
Pick a harder one first, but that doesn't mean that the easier ones don't get harder. But the first gym could just always be the easiest, even if it does scale up. It could just always be the easiest of them. So like the 8th gym might be like level 40s and 50s, and then scale higher with you.
You know what's
But the
weird?
first gym will start low and then still scale up.
You know what's weird? That we don't know.
It is weird that we
Yeah.
don't know, but they've been doing
Their
that
their
since
communication
even
with this
Sun and
game
Moon,
has
they
been
overshared.
a little weird. Hey, like my thought process is the leaks claim there were no scaling. Now those are leaks. We don't know.
Mhm.
We
I
don't
haven't
know
viewed
it.
the
You know,
leaks. I
yeah.
tried to avoid them.
Yeah, yeah. So
not
that's one
completely,
reason
but-
why that's one thing I brought up, because the leaks said it. Game Freak's not really saying it. They're sort of alluding that maybe there's no scaling, but maybe there is. I find it to be. I mean, this to me is a pressing issue for the game, because it sort of sounds like you're only going to really enjoy one of the storylines fully, and the rest you're not going to get like that new player experience with it, because you're.
I mean, the
Gonna
other thing too,
out-level
though,
'em.
is that maybe like the quote unquote first gym only has no they're just straight Pokemon. They don't have the Terrastall forms, and then you get to the quote unquote last gym, and all of the Pokemon have it. And maybe that's kind of how it makes it quote unquote harder, because you may know that what Pokemon are coming, but you don't know what forms they're gonna have. You know, I don't know. Maybe it's something along the lines of that. And maybe they do scale, and it's just makes things quote unquote harder because they all have the new forms.
I mean, I have no
Oh,
idea.
because the crystal.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, I have no
and
clue.
then as you kind of progress, it kind of just goes more and more. You kind of when you get in the middle, maybe 2 or 3 of them have it, and then the other 3 don't, and then as you keep going, it adds more that have that extra form. So that's how it maybe makes it quote unquote harder.
I have no idea.
When it comes to dealing damage, though, without scaling, how do they do it? In Pokemon battles, when it comes to dealing damage, you against the other Pokemon, if there's no scaling, if you as you go along and you defeat every gym battle, are they all going to be the same exact level? Or are they going to follow your level? Like you
Yeah,
level up. And then you
that
go
would
to a
be
gym.
that would be full scaling. Yeah.
We're not really sure. The
Yeah.
Pokemon Company definitely has to communicate more, but we are 3 months out. They overshared a lot with not Sword and Shield, with Sun and Moon, and since then they've kind of scaled back on how much they share prior to release. Like Sword and Shield didn't have anywhere near the run up that Sun and Moon did. Sun and Moon, you basically knew the whole game before it came out. Sword and Shield left a lot to be found, and I think they're sticking with that plan again, where there's going to be a lot to figure out when you get the game, because like the Sun and Moon lead up, it didn't get good reception online, and neither did the games, so that might be an issue itself. But
Yeah, so it makes it feel like they weren't planning on giving us information, like really deep information when it comes to this game, and they really wanted to announce what they announced at the beginning, the events, and the updates for the Pokemon, the apps and all this stuff, and then they just to keep everybody happy. Okay, yeah, we'll throw in some details of Pokemon, Scarlet and Violet. You know what I mean? That to me, that's how it felt when I was watching it. Everything at the beginning was getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and then I felt like it went like that. You know what I mean? Like everything we got in the last, I would say 5 to 6 minutes could have been just given to us in the trailer, or they could have made it something closer to the event. Dedicate Pokemon Presents just to Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, because it is that big of a game. This is basically the game of the year when it comes to like the closing the year. That was Breath of the Wild, but Breath of the Wild was delayed, so we got Pokemon Scarlet and Violet to fill in that void. Big shoes to fill. But that's how I felt. I feel like maybe they just weren't planning on giving us information on Pokemon Violet and Scarlet. They just wanted to introduce the things that they introduced in the beginning with the event and the updates for the apps. And then just that's what they did. Okay, Pokemon Presents. Here you go, 20 minutes. And I think that we're still getting another one dedicated to Pokemon Violet and Scarlet, because I wanted to see some gameplay. I wanted to see some action, some open world action there. I wanted to see somebody climbing, somebody going into a town, somebody getting out of the town. That the fluidity of an open world. I wanted to see some some real, like a live gameplay battle, somebody playing it, explaining it, like a real presentation. And I don't feel like I got that from this.
I think this has been a problem with the marketing for this game the whole time. Everything sounds exciting, and they're telling us about all these little things and barely showing them off. As an example, today's actually the day that gyms were even confirmed.
Mm-hmm.
And think about how they announced and think about how they announced it. Do you know what the purpose of gyms are in this game? Oh, because you got to go off and you do this thing in some Champion League thing. What are you talking about? Oh, and there's 3 total stories. Okay, so now there's 3 different stories. Pokemon's never done this before. What the hell are we even talking? Oh, just tell us all this stuff and give us no information on it. And I know there's 3 months. I know there's 3 months, but they did this when they said, "Oh, fully open world," and then they told us a few things, but they didn't show us a few things. Oh, there's full multiplayer. What's the limitations of it? What can you do? Can you complete one of these stories? There's no information on it. Like, there's so many questions left, which is good because it does make you want more trailers and more information. And yes, they could have a lot to share. And to Justin's point, they overshare with Sun and Moon, and that happens, and you can be a little scared, I guess, of that. But Sun and Moon also ended up being extremely well received, despite the oversharing. So the oversharing didn't hurt the end product reception. So
I mean, Sword and Shield, they kind of did the whole Dexit thing. We all know.
No one really cared what they had to say about the game after Dexit was announced. At least online, you couldn't find anyone care. Every time a trailer dropped, every comment was about Dexit. No one was even paying attention to the trailers. It felt like. I shouldn't say no one. Obviously, there were some people in it because it ended up being the second most popular or second most sold Pokemon game behind Gen 1. So clearly, a lot of people ended up enjoying their time with Sword and Shield, or at least enjoying it enough to pick it up.
I enjoyed it enough to finish it.
Yeah,
I just care about Lechonk. I don't care about anything else. As long as I get.
Oh, Lechonk's in my party all the way to the end.
Yes.
Dude, Lechonk
That's
for
all I
life.
get.
He's in my party all the way to the end.
Lechonk.
I'm
They
not
should
even
just
sure if I
call
want him to
the
evolve.
Pokemon.
Just leave him as Lechonk the whole way.
Yeah, they should just call the game Pokemon Lechonk.
There should be a
was
third. We had Pokemon Yellow edition back in the day. We should get Lechonk edition.
Lechonk edition.
They're gonna just change the whole name from Pokemon to Pokechonk.
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 Oh, Lechonk, I love his design.
Okay. So
His
Justin.
tears are gold or something.
So Justin, what else did you have to think about the stuff today? I know you kind of got cut off there by the sidebars.
I really liked the Fido, the
dog, the dog
Pokemon. That was adorable. I think the pun names that they've been doing in this generation are really good.
Eaten to the memes.
Lechonk is one of them. Yeah, the memes are great. I know I have no issue with them not sharing a whole lot for Pokemon because it's gonna sell regardless. So I don't need them to give me everything.
What?
That's just a me thing, but I don't need to see anymore. I was gonna buy the game anyway.
That's
So
true. I am.
I'm fine with
Even
them
though I-
undersharing as opposed to oversharing.
Yeah.
So
But
there is
it would be nice to see how it performs and stuff though
Yeah.
beforehand, because not everybody is like us who are like who buy every game, and some people need convincing, and when you don't share
For
most of
smaller
your
games,
stuff,
I think so, but Pokemon, I don't think Pokemon really needs. Like, we know it's not gonna.
well,
run
let's think about
fantastically.
this.
It's
Let's think about
Pokemon.
this.
It's
Let's think
gonna
about this
run
though.
mediocrely.
Yes, it's gonna sell well.
I
Okay.
mean,
Yes, it's gonna sell well.
that
Okay?
doesn't mean
How long has it taken
I
for
don't
them to
know.
get back over 20 million in sales? How many years between 20 million sellers did it take for them?
Actually, don't know.
was
It's
almo-
been. I think it's been a while with.
It was almost
Gen 2 or
it was
3 did
almost
that.
2 decades between selling over 20 million in a generation. So
I feel like just because a game sells well doesn't mean it is
Yes.
good.
yes, I agree
Like Call
that.
of
Definitely
Duty
doesn't
is
make
like
it- But-
an
but,
example of that.
The point I was trying to make in pointing out how large the gap was between 20 million sellers in the franchise is that just because it's going to sell well, it just means you keep selling to the same people. If
Yeah,
you're not
that's true.
seeing exponential growth in your sales, game over game over game, that means you're not actually hitting a new audience. And at some point, you're going to try to outgrow your audience at some point. Your audience outgrows you, or they die someday, get too old, don't want to play anymore, and you don't have anyone else coming in underneath. Like, I can tell you right now, I have been around a lot of elementary kids, and they care a hell of a lot more about Roblox, Minecraft, than they do Pokemon.
Yeah.
Because they're not being, they're not.
The nephews do not care about Pokemon at
Yeah.
all, and they're
And
teenagers, the young kids.
Yeah.
I
Like,
think that's a Pokemon problem they've had for a long time.
but that
and
but
they
that
haven't done
problem is
anything about it
appealing to new
before.
players. They got to appeal
Yeah.
to new players. You can't just
Yeah.
keep relying on like the base is huge. That's why, yeah, it's gonna, guys. This game's gonna sell over 10 million. It's probably gonna sell over 15 mil. Maybe it'll even sell as well as Sword of Shield. Hit 20, 25. It could get up there. It might. But also, does that mean that the base has grown, or does that mean that it's just selling to the same crowd that bought Sword and Shield? And also, there's a lot of people, by the way, that I will say trying to get old audience back into it. Like a lot of fans that have left Pokemon over the years that maybe got interested, and I'm one of them, got interested in Arceus. Like, oh, Arceus is cool. It's sort of open world. These new mechanics. Kind of interested. What's this going to be like in a real mainline game? And now we have an open world mainline game coming. I think there's a lot of neat ideas being thrown out here, and I think there's a lot of, from old fans that feel burned, that just haven't really enjoyed Pokemon for a while. They might go, hey, you have a lot of great ideas here. You're not telling us anything about those ideas, which makes us feel like the ideas are half-baked and there's too many new ideas to try to throw into a 3-year period for it to actually play out and work well. So then there's a lack of trust. Now, for the hardcore faithful, I mean, he said you're going to buy the game anyways. So like they could have showed you nothing and just said a new Pokemon game's coming and you probably were going to buy it.
Every year I plan on buying it.
Yeah, so yeah, see, they don't have to earn your loyalty. They already have it. But to earn other people's loyalty that aren't people that buy Pokemon every year. Like, I'm not someone who buys it every year. So I need more information. Like, I am highly interested, but I need to know a hell of a lot more before I decide, you know what, I'm going to go plop down, $60, or I'm going to go buy the double pack for $120. Like, I need to know. I can't just be told a blanket term that this is what this is going to be without understanding what it kind of like that reminds me of that first 2-minute and 30-second trailer where they're showing you these things, but they're not really explaining any of it. And then they didn't really explain any of it. The only thing I understand at this point is at some point you get your legendary and you can travel the world with it. And at some point you can invite friends.
To me, it
and at
almost just
some
feels
point
like
we can
you're
do
just
raid
giving your
battles.
legendary right away at the beginning.
Yeah.
It's like, here,
maybe.
and you're just giving it.
Yeah, and I don't even know how that works. Like,
Yeah.
it's cool to not know everything, right? Part of you don't want to always know everything about the games, but when they're introducing so many new ideas here, so many different things that I don't know what I'm supposed to expect from any of it. Like when you confirm gyms in the way that you did by just casually bringing up a gym leader. Okay. And what kind is this? Is this like traditional gyms? And if I'm someone who's never played Pokemon, what the hell is a gym leader? It's very much maybe the way they were catering this was maybe to current big fans of the franchise. Like, hey, our big fans know it. They're going to be super excited by this stuff. To everyone else, you'll find out later.
I think that's what they rely on a lot for their marketing, though, is like they cater to the hardcore audience for it, and then they expect them to hype up the game online and everything else and for it to spread word of mouth that way. They've never really done a whole lot of like in-depth marketing,
Except
again,
with
with the
Sun and Moon.
exception of Sun and Moon. They didn't do a whole lot before that, and they haven't done a whole lot since. Sun and Moon is the exception to that. They are not good at marketing, and that is a problem that they have. But I think as someone who does buy a lot of Pokemon, I've just grown accustomed to that problem where I know they're not going to do a lot. Kind of like when with Zelda, how it gets delayed. Like
Oh, yeah.
the hardcore fans know it's going to get delayed.
It's always going to get delayed.
And we don't complain about it because we know it. But the
No, I still
casual
complain.
audience will
I still complain. I
constantly.
know what you're talking about. I
But
still
Zelda's
complain.
different because like Zelda has quality to their games.
Oh, shots fired.
Oh, shots fired!
Oh,
Shots fired! Hold on.
The casual audience will still complain about the delays no matter what.
Oh.
Whereas
I didn't
the people who
complain.
who like are hardcore into Zelda or just Nintendo in general are like, yeah, it's Zelda. It was going to get delayed. It's always going to get delayed. No Zelda game comes out without 3 or 4 delays. So
Yeah.
it's less concerning. And it's the same thing with Pokemon. We know they're not going to show a lot. We know what to expect. They're going to be mediocre games, but the gameplay loop is fun enough that for most people, that's fine. It doesn't need to run great. It runs well enough. It doesn't need to look fantastic. It looks good enough. And
But
people are
let me.
just-
Can I ask you something though?
It is,
To-
but
this
if-
is
as long as it's
to
selling, they're not
Mandy's
gonna
point.
care.
This is to Mandy's point. You're someone who buys it up every single time, Justin, and you're talking about these. Oh, it's good enough. Oh, it's this. It's fine. It's good enough here. It's mediocre here. Mediocre. Like, why are you accepting mediocrity?
Because that's what they're going to put out as long as it's selling. And
But
I mean,
if-
I
but
could
if you
skip the
stop
game, but
accepting
my
it,
one sale,
If you stop
but
accepting
my
it,
one sale isn't going to do that. So it would have
but
to be
see, that's whatever.
millions
This is what happens though. This is how things don't change. Everyone just accepts it. People got to stop
Not even
accepting it.
It's just saying my one. But if
But
everybody's,
everybody says that. That's what
everybody's saying
everybody
one,
says.
yeah.
Everyone says my one. It's got to start somewhere.
and if you're
It
if
does, but
everybody does say
it-
one,
it's kind of like that's a great idea, but in reality, we know the game's going to sell millions, and like, am I going to miss the game personally? Like, I'm not going to miss the game. I don't care that much. It's a video game. It's not my life. As long as it's fun enough to play, I'm usually happy with it. But I'm a very easy person to satisfy when it comes to games.
Sure.
It doesn't mean the masses are, but most people do just buy them.
And that's probably
Or
the big
parents
difference
buy them
between
for
the
their
Zelda
kids.
fan base and the Pokemon fan base. Is if a mediocre Zelda game comes out, we just don't buy it.
That's not true. People bought Wind Waker.
Sure.
What?
Sure.
shots fired in the other direction.
Sure. It's okay. That's fine. You want to trash Wind
Wind
Waker?
Waker
Hey, you
is-
want to trash Wind Waker? Be my guest.
What?
But here's the thing. If you look at the
Don't be
sales
my
of Zelda
guest.
games, all the Zelda games that are rated the lowest also have poor sales. Because they don't just lap up every Zelda game. Now, I buy every Zelda game because I'm that super hardcore, but the hardcore audience of Zelda is only like 4 million people. If you want to hit on that bigger audience where Zelda gets to 8 million or 25 million like Breath of the Wild, you can't release a mediocre Zelda game. Mediocre Zelda games don't sell well. Skyward Sword, they've now tried selling Skyward Sword twice, and they can't get it to cross 4 million in sales. They've tried twice now.
A lot
So
of the Zelda games that don't sell though are also on the worst selling Nintendo consoles, like the
Wii and
GameCube.
Switch?
The Wii sold really well. but
Wii
the
and Switch?
The Wii sold really well, but its software did not sell super well. A lot of people bought Wii's and then didn't buy anything else. They bought the Wii and got Wii Sports, maybe Wii Play, and that was it.
oh my god, do you even know the top? Do you
Pokemon,
even know the
Pokemon.
top 20 software sales on there? Holy crap! You said did not sell well. Software did not sell well.
Over the all, software did not sell that great on the Wii.
Oh my!
Then Twilight Princess and Wind
Twilight
Waker came
Princess
back
was the
on Wii U.
best-selling Zelda game of all time at the time because of Wii. It was the
Oh
best-selling
my-
Zelda ever.
That was when we launched though.
So, and Breath of the Wild was when Switch launched. What's your point? Does it sales not count?
No, it counts, but it didn't sell on the Wii U. Just like it didn't sell on the game. Just like
The
Twilight
Wii
Princess
U
did.
didn't
all
sell.
right.
The Wii U
So-
didn't sell. You can't talk about the Wii U. The Wii U
let
didn't
me,
sell.
Let me go ahead and jump in here. Let me go.
I
and
love
jump
this.
in
I love
here.
this though. Shots are getting fired. I love it.
But let me jump in here with some facts though. Okay, so let's talk about the Wii. The hardware is sold 101 million. Software 921 million.
9 to 1
hardware,
attach ratio.
921 million, basically 921 million. All right, the Switch has only sold to date 863 million. So far, software sales, they were not all Pokemon games. They were not all Zelda games. There were a large variety of games that were sold on the Switch and on the Wii.
Yep, 9 to 1
and
attach rate.
and so far, the Switch, okay, it's 101 million units sold, which by the way, the Wii only sold
111 million.
101 million.
They updated
Has-
today. It's 111
Yeah,
million.
111. Okay, so 111 million to 101 from the Wii. It still has not outsold the Wii in software. So when it comes to games, the Wii was more popular, of course, when it comes to games than the Switch is. I mean, the Switch is the current thing. That's what we're talking about. That's what we're
Yeah,
what we're more
and
excited
Switch will end
about.
up moving. Switch is on pace to be Nintendo's first billion software
Yep.
selling thing, but it's also going to be selling 140, 150 million units to get there. So compared to
But
the
yeah,
Wii.
the Wii itself, the Wii sold pretty well. I mean, hardware and software as well.
Like just looking in the top
Yeah.
10 selling games on Wii, let's say you want to set aside the family games for some reason because apparently Wii Sports, Wii Sports Resort, Wii Play, Wii Fit don't count. Fine.
Oh no, I'm not setting them aside. I'm just saying they're not like
Oh.
that. A lot of people bought that kind of stuff over like Metroid Primes and
Metroid was not popular,
Zelda.
dude. Metroid's never been popular. Ever on any system. It's never
Oh,
been
I
a big
know, but
seller.
It's so Metroid Prime 3 sold less than 1 and 2, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, you are correct. And 2 sold less than 1, and 3 sold less than 2. It's a pattern with Metroid. Metroid struggles to sell 2 million. So you're referencing an IP that already doesn't sell very well. How about Mario Kart? Almost 40 million sold on Wii. I don't know. That sounds pretty good. That's the second best selling game on Wii. Let's see. How about New Super Mario Brothers? 30 million on Wii. That's at number 4. Super Smash Bros. Brawl was the best selling fighting game of all time until Ultimate came out. That's at number 8. Number 9, Mario Galaxy. 13 million. That was the best selling 3D Mario game of all time until Odyssey came out. So I'm really confused. Like even Twilight Princess sold 7.5 million. That's number 13 on the list. So Mario Galaxy 2 is at number 14. Donkey Kong Country Returns ended up selling like 7 million on the system. Like I'm really confused when we act like nobody bought anything on a system that has a 9-to-1 attach rate. Doesn't make sense to me.
Unit sales.
Like the numbers don't agree. Now you could argue, yes, you see something like Wii Sports 82 million. Well, we all know it was the pack in. If they would have packed in 1-2 Switch with they would have the same numbers. They would have packed in 1-2 Switch, but Switch just doesn't have a packing game. So even if we want to set aside Wii Sports, well, Wii Sports Resort wasn't a packing game. And that's at number 3 at 33 million. And now we just got Nintendo Switch Sports. So we can't argue that's not an ongoing IP. They just released that and it sold like 5.5. I'm trying to remember what the launch numbers were. Maybe it was 4.5. No.
It did do something like that.
Yeah, it was like 5.5, and I think it's Kirby that's at 4.5 right now. Anyways, sorry. Just that you kind of triggered me a little bit when you're like, nothing sold on Wii. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's Nintendo's best-selling platform of all time, software-wise. I'm confused.
A lot of the later stuff just doesn't seem to have sold as well. Maybe I'm wrong on the numbers. I probably am. I'm not.
Well, that's by the way, that's true on things that release late in a platform's life. Always doesn't sell.
Didn't.
I mean,
Skyward Sword was like what, the year before, like the year of the Wii U, or the year before
sure.
the Wii U,
So then
something
why
like
does
that?
Skyward Sword HD not sell?
Oh, because that game was $60 and not worth $60, and I bought it at $60.
Okay, so then you're
was
just
not
making
worth
my
$60.
point that it wasn't that as good as the other Zelda games, so Zelda fans didn't pick it up. So why are Pokemon fans
I
picking
don't
up
think
Pokemon
it's
games?
not as good
Not as
though.
good.
It's just not worth $60. Like it was already only $50 on the Wii. It's a re-release. It's just in HD. The control scheme isn't that much better. Like it's an upcharge for something that it should have been like a $40 game, and they wanted to charge
Pokemon
60.
is selling like double copies of a $60 game.
Pokemon
including,
is
like,
an exception. No, Pokemon is definitely an exception to the rule when it comes to most things. It gets away with a lot. Pokemon always gets away with a lot.
Like if it was like some
make it good.
indie
This is not the way I
company
thought this
who make
podcast
a
was gonna
game,
go.
that all that stuff won't fly for any reviewer or something. They'll just give it like a freaking 0. But it's Pokemon, and it just baffles me that like it's such a big IP, but the games are not like big IPs. I've seen indie games put more effort into their like actual game than $1 billion IP franchise. Like, geez, sometimes I'm just like, oh man. I think the game Stray for the PlayStation, that one's like indie. It has more detail than anything in Pokemon. And I'm just like, Pokemon, like what are you doing with this money? People
No,
have
that
affording it
does
because they get-
bother. Yeah, that does bother a lot of
Uh,
people. That it's the biggest IP in the world, but they don't
Yes.
put more
These
into
are
it.
these are common complaints from most
Yeah.
even Pokemon fans have these same complaints. It's just we know that it's not treat it the way it should be. Like it with all the money it makes, it should be
Yeah.
better than it is. But at the same time, who's gonna skip the Pokemon? Who's gonna be the one to skip the Pokemon game of the year to prove the point? And then even if you do, is Pokemon Company really gonna change? Like they're kind of changing now. Even though Sword and Shield's the best selling since Gen 1,
They still radically.
Legends Arceus was
still
massively different. This is going to be massively different.
It's
They
because
are moving in a
I
different
think they
direction.
want. So this is just based on some interviews I was watching around Arceus timing, and we'll get our interviews for this game as well after it comes out. So it sounded a lot like Game Freak and even the Pokemon Company saw what happened with Breath of the Wild. Already super successful franchise in Zelda. Not relative to Pokemon, sells about half of what Pokemon does normally, but still relatively long-term successful franchise. Totally did everything, flipped the table, did something completely drastically different they haven't really done since the very first game. And all of a sudden, boom, it's hitting sales numbers that are just unheard of for Zelda. I don't know if Zelda will ever have another 25 million selling game. It's insane. And Pokemon Company goes, why don't we try something different and see if we can replicate that? Now, I'm not saying they're going to replicate that, but it sounded like there was some inspiration in some of these interviews because they mentioned Breath of the Wild in the interviews themselves like multiple times as like, yeah, we got some inspiration from Breath of the Wild. And it's like, oh, okay. Well, Arceus obviously as a solo game is going to have a hard time outselling, dual pack games. That's why it's not in the top 10. Well, Brilliant Diamond and Let's Go are, but it's really interesting because it's very obvious to me that even though Sword and Shield sold so well, they think Pokemon can be bigger than it is. And so they want to do something new and fresh. And I think that that's admirable. And I like I like a lot of the things that they're actually showing for this game. I've liked almost every single feature they have mentioned for this game. I've been stupidly excited about because I'm like, yes, multiplayer with friends. And it's not just raid battles. We could traverse the world together, go into towns together. Yes, yes, yes. I love that. It's fully open world. We can enter towns from any angle. The only thing I didn't like is that, they didn't bring in some of the Arceus catch mechanics. I wish some of it would have been brought in mixed with the traditional, but whatever. Maybe that'll happen down the line at some point after all these games are being developed at like the same time. So, it'll probably have to wait for the next one before you see a merging of ideas. But it's interesting looking at it and going, that's all cool. And I'm not even going to sit there and bash the visuals because at this point, Pokemon visuals are Pokemon visuals. You're basically going to get 3DS visuals in HD, and that's just what it's going to be. I know that feels like an insult to some people. I'm not trying to insult it. That's just, it doesn't feel like these mobile handheld developers have really gone into what that art direction. It's not even the art direction. It's even things like I'm watching a battle and I'm looking at the ground and the ground texture. It's something from the N64. Like it doesn't make any sense to still see that on Switch, but I'm not gonna bash the visuals too much. I went hard into them on Sword and Shield. I'm gonna leave it alone. At this point, Pokemon is what it is, and I can leave it alone because you know what? The visuals were probably even worse in Legends Arceus, and I ended up liking the game.
Yeah.
I ended up liking the game.
Yeah, I liked it too.
So the visuals clearly are
Yeah.
not going to stop me from playing Pokemon, even though I wish they were better. What I don't like, though, and this has been something I didn't complain about on 3DS, but it has irked me a little bit on some of the games, and not all the games. That like Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl didn't have this problem, but I also just didn't like those games. It is some of the frame rate drops that we're seeing in these trailers, and I know we're 3 months out, guys. I know. But some of the frame rate drops look pretty extreme. I don't know how extreme yet because I don't have it. I'm not counting all the frames on a trailer. That's like a stupid way to really find out exact information anyways. I'll wait till Digital Foundry does their thing. But it feels weird to me to see such frame rate drops with a game that doesn't look as visually impressive as games that run at lock 60 on Switch. And that's like the only thing technically that bothers me. Otherwise, it's just the lack of information on all these new ideas. I'm glad they have a bunch of new ideas, but I just don't know anything about them. I don't know what I'm supposed to be excited about. Like, so we can now do this transformation and turn them into these weird... I don't know that I like the look of the crystallization of them, but that's a personal preference. But like you could turn into this crystallized version and bring in these other types right? Bring in a fire type, bring in a water type, bring in this type. Like, you know, you have your, I don't know the characters in the game, but let's say you have a Charizard and it's fire and you want to add a water type to it. Cool. I'm just wondering why I'm supposed to be excited by that versus just playing without transforming my Pokemon. What about that mechanic makes it supposed to be exciting?
Pretty. I'll give it that.
It's new. It's new.
it
I just don't know enough
I
about, like,
think
it
that's
sounds
for
almost like,
people
is it a
who-
necessary mechanic or is it this is just something different to be different?
See, what I
it's a
think is
gimmick,
that
it's different to be
Here,
different.
yeah, just different to be different. Okay.
It's different to be different.
Yeah,
Just
I'm
like
asking the
Dynamax
Pokemon
was,
mega fan here
Megas,
because
okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
that's what they do. They add a gimmick, and it's been like this since Gen 6. That's not to say that the gimmicks are always great. Sometimes they're not. Sometimes they are really cool. It adds a type. If you're a competitive player to some extent, I think this would definitely be more interesting. I'm not a competitive player, so I think it looks fine. It's not anything to be excited about. But if you're a competitive player, I can see why you would be excited. But that's what I mean when I say the trailer was definitely catered more to people who were into Pokemon and not like new fans.
okay.
Nothing in this trailer is going to attract anyone new. It's just going to excite people who are already going to buy it.
Okay.
All right.
That's fair. That's
I can
fair.
vibe with that. Yeah.
That's fair. I mean, I think that's what they've been doing
I
a long
mean,
time
yeah.
is just catering to current fans.
Hmm.
It'd be interesting if I ever heard out of their mouth, and it's a stupid thing. Like when the Sonic Frontiers team said this, "Oh, we're aiming to be a highly reviewed game." I'm like, what? Shouldn't you always be? What? But I don't think I think the
Yeah.
Pokemon company legitimately doesn't get. We don't need a Pokemon game rated in the 90s. We're good.
I think the
Nah,
Pokemon
it's just
company
they
knows that
sell.
they're just Sonic with more sales. It's
Yeah.
the same middling quality. It's just more sales. I think most people they know that it's not. The only thing it
Yeah.
has going for it is that it sells, and the gameplay loop is immensely fun.
Yeah.
I wonder when it's gonna start to like stop though.
With the gimmicks or
Like you
Well-
kind of wonder.
Oh, like
When
how
is
how
this
long can they get
gonna-
away with it? Like just kind of being
Yeah.
mediocre with a lot of things.
Yeah.
till it stops selling.
I mean, I don't think a drastic change would come until it hits a point. Like if they release like back-to-back Pokemon games that can't cross 10 million.
Then yeah, probably.
But you gotta think they have more than just the games. It's like the card game, the show,
Sure.
and that kind of stuff keeps people in. And when people are in, they're gonna buy the game. Or if like your kid watches Pokemon, the parents just gonna buy them a game and not know any better. And these kind of things will just generate more sales. It kind of feeds
Yeah.
into itself with all the extra
The
stuff to it.
games always came first before the anime plushies and all that. And I feel like they kind of like lost sight of that.
I wonder how
Like
popular
they
this
got
show
really
is.
lucky. They got really lucky with the success of the first Pokemon game. And because they had this whole gameplay loop and catching monsters and stuff. But I feel like they lost a little bit of sight of it in a way, but time and stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
I'm gonna clarify something as well. The Terra types, they actually change the type. They don't actually add to.
Mm-hmm.
So it will
Oh, they
actually
changed
change
the
the type. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I could have swore the leak said that it was they added a type.
I'm
But
on
like, I haven't
Scarlet and
really been paying
Violet's
too much attention to
website.
it, so.
I'm on the Pokemon website for Scarlet and Violet, and it says for each Pokemon has a Terra type. The Pokemon's Terra type isn't active until the Pokemon terratalizes, at which time the Pokemon's type will change to its Terra type.
Aerotolizes. I'm gonna have a hard time spelling that. But yeah. But I don't get why it says terratolize, but it's a crystal. I don't know. It just didn't. The whole crystal part doesn't really fit the theme, like the mood. I thought maybe it was gonna be like a.
That would be more of like a brilliant type of shining pearl because they're shiny.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
And it's something I said
Bling,
before. I was
bling,
I was
like,
wondering how
nice.
popular the Pokemon animated series still is.
Yeah.
it's in the top 3. Naruto is the most popular anime in the world.
Ew. Oh,
Um,
sorry.
Is it really? I feel like One Piece should be the most popular.
Dragon Ball is the most popular anime in the world.
No,
Dragon Ball.
Dragon Ball actually isn't. No,
I am
it's
just not
Much that I
Naruto,
like Dragon Ball. It's
Naruto, and then it's probably Pokemon, but it's probably Pokemon, but it's because Pokemon has such a dominance in the United States and Canada.
Anyway, can I say something about that Jewel Terraria, whatever
Terrastall?
thing?
Terrastall. I'm
Yeah,
eventually
that
gonna
thing.
memorize that thing, maybe.
So I mean, isn't the fun of the entire thing about Pokemon is gotta catch them all? Why do you catch them all? They all have their different abilities. They're fire type, they're grass type, there's this type. So you
rock,
trying
paper,
to tell me
scissors
that
of
I
it.
don't have to catch them all this time? I can just catch whatever I want.
And make
Change
it whatever
to
type you
whatever I
want. Well, not
Whatever
whatever.
I want.
You
One.
can
Only
catch
one
them
other
all.
type. So if you have like a fire Pokemon, you can make it a completely different type only once. Though.
You
Like,
don't know though until you don't know what type it is until it actually does. So you could catch one, you could catch 2.
So I can make it
and you
a
don't
fire
make it
one,
anything.
and
They
it'll
already
make
have
it
it.
Yeah,
a-
yeah,
and a fire.
they already have it.
You don't make them anything.
Yeah.
They already have it when you catch them. You just don't know until they terrestrialize
Sure.
which one they change to. So
Fertilize. They
Yeah.
hatch.
Did they mention how that works on like dual type Pokemon? Like if you're fire
No.
flying and it terrestrializes water, you become water
You just
flying,
become water.
or water fire.
they just become water.
I assume just.
You just
I have
become
no
straight
idea.
water and you
Here's the
lose
thing.
both?
Yeah.
That's one of those things where they didn't give us the details,
don't
so
know.
we don't really know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We really don't know. That would be.
I mean,
one
maybe
nice
it's
thing to go
explained in the
into.
leaks, but we're
Yeah.
not going into the leaks to figure it out.
One
so.
nice thing would have been a little bit better in depth, and maybe again, like Mike said, maybe there's another Pokemon Presents that's just to this.
Well, there'll be. I guarantee you there will be a dedicated Scarlet and Violet Pokemon Direct or Presents before it comes out. Guarantee that's going to happen. I'm not sure when they're going to time it because October is pretty packed, but Pokemon Company also doesn't give a crap what anyone else is doing. They'll just do it when they want to do it. So, I mean, could be next month, could be October. I would presume they wouldn't wait till November to do a blowout because there's so many other big games coming out from other companies that they just want to run their commercials then, and you're in the home stretch then, So, I'm assuming October at some point they'll probably throw one out there, but who knows? They beat to the beat of their own drum, and it's worked incredibly well. I give the Pokemon Company one bit of credit. They have maintained the series' popularity for multiple decades. Even if they can't maintain its peak,
Yeah.
they have maintained a very certain plateau of popularity. They haven't fallen off the cliff like Nintendo's trying to avoid with the next hardware, where Nintendo typically falls off a cliff after having a huge success. So they haven't done that. Pokemon has never really hit rock bottom. So
Yeah. And I don't want it to hit rock bottom, but yeah.
yeah, I think
And to
that
tell you the truth, I started enjoying Pokemon with Sword and Shield, a game that other people didn't like. So I like Sword and Shield, and my daughter, who never played Pokemon at all, she started playing with Sword and Shield. And Arceus was good, and I think guess what? I think they're headed in a good way. This one obviously is going to be better than the last, and I mean, it's all good.
okay. So let's spin this around and end this topic with some positivity.
I had a couple questions. That
You have some
came out of this.
questions?
Yeah.
Go for it.
So, I mean, I enjoyed it. The Presents was okay. It kind of made me a little bit excited. To actually be able to play Pokemon with you. But
Aw.
I'm,
know,
don't listen. Don't fall for his BS. There's a bunch of games he's supposed to play with me. He still hasn't.
yeah, well,
So I'm excited to play Pokemon with you. Okay, just like you were excited to play TMNT with me, just like you were excited to
straight.
play Fall Guys with me, just like you're excited. Like, I'm still waiting for the game we actually play together.
Yeah, right.
Hasn't happened yet.
no, for sure.
The only one we actively attempted was the one game that we had to both have an Xbox for
Yeah,
because we couldn't play it local.
I mean, when we played Kirby together.
Yeah, technically at launch.
Yeah. But
We just
So-
handed the controller back and forth for part of it because at one point it's like,
yeah.
oh, this is like really easy when we're both just
Yeah.
spanking.
But no. So it showed you that terrestrialization, jeepers,
Yeah, that.
and the four players battling. The cool thing that I thought, came out of that was that you just didn't have to wait for like turns. You would just attack at your own thing. But then they're like, well, once it's defeated, you have a chance to catch it. Well, does that apply to all four of you? Does it apply to only one of you? How does that work? They didn't qualify, qualify
I
that.
think it's going to be like the raid battles in Sword and Shield where everyone can catch it.
That's what I
if
was
I'm not
kind of
mistaken.
thinking, but they didn't clarify that. So I'm just kind of wondering. It's like, well, how does
That's
that
another
work?
thing where I think they just assumed because it's the raid battles again, and it's just we're using a different gimmick with the raid battle that they just assume that it's all going to follow over from the last game. That's at least that was my understanding. Is
Yeah.
it's just going to be the same
But
as
then
Sword
again-
and Shield with the new gimmick.
For those of us that haven't played old Pokemon games, it'd be nice to know that.
It would be.
So it's it's all common sense. No, it's really not if you haven't played it. And I'm not coming at anybody. So but the other biggest thing that I kind of came out of this is, so Pokemon Company, we know, swats down a whole bunch of stuff, right? Where Nintendo's kind of a little bit more lenient and allows people to do kind of other things. But my God, the Pokemon Company actually allows and encourages a massive competitive and online competitive market, but Nintendo's like, no, fuck you. We can't have this.
It's like Pokemon figured out that there's a crap load of money to be made doing that.
Yeah, right. But
They already have
it just
a
blew
lot.
my mind that I'm like, oh my God, they have like these massive competitions and all these things that it's like, the Pokemon Company, who's so strict with their stuff, and then you turn around at Nintendo, who's a little bit more lenient. You can use their trailers, you can use their music, you can use some of their stuff there, whatnot. And they're like, the second you try to organize a Smash Bros tournament, like, no, you're done. You can't. Why? That was one thing that I just kind of came out of there going, huh? Did not see that one coming. But
Cool.
yeah, overall, I thought the game looked good.
So let's end this by each giving two things that we're looking forward to with this game. So I think this conversation turned into a lot of criticism
Sorry about that.
versus excitement, which is okay, because the bottom line is that these are honest and true feelings and honest and true criticisms, and that's all I really want from anybody who's on our show, is to be truthful. Don't hide how you really feel. Tell us how you really feel. I mean, what's even cool about Justin, he's like a mega fan, and he's like, yeah, no, that's mediocre. This is mediocre, but it's fun enough, so I'll keep buying it.
I try to admit when they're bad. I know they are. It's
fun enough.
still fun.
It's fun enough, and that's honestly, this is why I don't tell people what to do with their own money. Hey, if you're having fun, enjoy. There's,
I vibe with that.
we probably only live once, so you might as well enjoy what you enjoy, even if it makes other people upset because they want it to be different. It's whatever. You're not there to please them. You gotta worry about yourself when it comes to entertainment. As long as the entertainment's not harmful, quite literally, to others. Be careful with that entertainment. It might be fun to shoot Roman candles at strangers, but you can negatively hurt somebody else in a very serious way. So don't do that. Trust me, I was an idiot as a kid. Don't do that. I never hurt anyone, but I definitely got a lot of angry neighbors at me because I was shooting at their cars as they drove by. Oh, that was not one of my brighter moments in my life. I was very fortunate; nothing worse happened. So let's kick it over to Mike. Give me two things that you're looking forward to with Pokemon Scarlet and Violet.
Okay, I'm looking forward to exploring because when it comes to games, I love open maps where you could just explore, just go wherever you want. I like the openness of or and the freedom of actually going to any gym you want, right? Completing the game in in any form you want. I like the fact that it does have 3 storylines, you can go back and complete it. I don't care about the difficulty levels. I just like stories and I like adventure, So that's one, right? That counts as one. That storyline.
Yeah.
You know, storyline and exploring. Basically, I already said my two, right?
Yeah.
Did I?
Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
So yeah, the map looks incredible. I gotta say that the actual map
Looks
looks
huge.
amazing.
Looks huge.
Yeah, it looks amazing. I like this map more than I like the one from Breath of the Wild. It looks beautiful. So they one upped that, you know. So yeah, exploring and just having a new experience, you know, just having something new to look forward to.
And Mandy.
I'm excited to play a mainline Pokemon game again. Since Sword and Shield I didn't really enjoy, I'm really looking forward to enjoying this one. Um, I'm looking forward to um exploring as well. The open world looks very, very nice. Not the prettiest, but it's a lot of space to play in. And the third one, just for bonus, LeChonk.
Chunk.
Lechonk.
There, the
Nice.
LeChonk.
Justin.
I'm really looking forward to Wooper's evolution. I want to see what a poison ground Quagsire is going to look like. He's got little bones coming out of his head for Wooper, so that looks. I can't wait to see more of that. Just the exploration, an actual open world. Legends was almost there, and that was a lot of fun. So I'm really interested to see what they do with a completely open world and how that's going to work.
Nice. Eric.
Obviously, the multiplayer. That was the biggest thing for me. And then it's going to be interesting to see some of the newer Pokemon that they really haven't announced yet, because some of the newer ones, I kind of like the designs. It feels like they kind of got back to their roots a little bit with designs of Pokemon, not just picking random everyday objects and going, yeah, that's a Pokemon. Yeah, that's a Pokemon. Sure, why not? You know?
Yeah,
But
good point, yeah.
no, it'll just be interesting to see the kind of the newer Pokemon that they have in here that they haven't, explained yet. So,
Sure. For me, the whole idea of there being 3 stories, I'm really intrigued by this because in theory, it could almost be like 3 Pokemon games in one, because I haven't cared about catching them all since like the first couple generations of Pokemon until Legends Arceus, which makes you catch them all. So I've kind of gotten over this whole I got to complete the Pokedex. I got to get everything. I got to get every type. I got to get every version. So since that's not really a huge appealing factor to me anymore, what is still is completing the main quest. But there's 3 of them. And only one of them's
There's more.
about the gyms, which would typically be what the only quest is, besides a little side story, rival side stories, and other stuff. So I'm very curious what these 3 stories are, and what the 2 in particular that aren't about the gyms are, and how you do them. And obviously, I assume a lot of it comes through side quests or exploring the world and finding like I'm just, how does this work? Because in the past, it's always been built around that central story, that central theme, the central concept of going through gyms or arenas, or the couple games there where they got rid of that stuff, but then still had something that sort of replaced it in a different way. And then you had like
a post game.
Yeah, I'm not talking
But
about
like 3 post games, I guess.
but I don't even think the way it was described didn't even sound like it was post game. There's literally 3 mainline stories in this game, at least based on what I understand of it. So it's not even post game. There's just 3 stories, and you can do any of them. You can just skip the gyms entirely and do something else. The gyms don't even matter. So I'm really curious how that plays, the dichotomy of it all, and obviously we don't know enough information for me to really say more than that. It just, the idea sounds exciting to me. I need to know more about it, but the idea sounds really exciting. So hopefully I am still carrying that same excitement once we find out like what these additional stories are, or at least not the entire story, but an idea of the gameplay and the pathway of it. Heck, is one of them focused on multiplayer? Don't know. They didn't really tell us. The other thing I'm excited about, and it feels weird for me to say it, but exploration with friends. Because I honestly don't think I'm going to enjoy exploring this world as much as I did with Zelda. As much as I like the map, and I think the terrain differences will be more drastic and more interesting at times, I don't think there's going to be as much cool things to discover in the world. I think it's going to be heavily focused on just finding new Pokemon. Because that's usually the point of a game, is finding new Pokemon. I don't think there's going to be a lot of like, oh, there'll be some broken down runes here, or there'll be some cool thing over here that references something from a different game, or this and like, that's not really what Pokemon is typically. So I think a lot of the discovery is just going to lead to discovering new Pokemon, which is totally fine, by the way. But not as exciting to me as exploring a world where you're trying to find the story of that world in the world. And one thing I give credit to Legends Arceus for is they kind of had that in there. There was a little bit of discovering a world within the world while exploring. But it wasn't ever really fully fleshed out. And maybe they do that in this game. Maybe that is a thing and we just don't know yet. But I am looking forward to exploring the world regardless, because I love exploration. I love just finding things. It's cool. The moment I can walk into a town from any direction, my mind's going to be blown because I've never been able to do that in Pokemon. And it's going to make me think, am I really playing a Pokemon game right now? And then when I'm doing it with a friend, because they already confirmed you can walk into towns with friends.
Mm-hmm.
Suddenly I got Mandy, Lee, Justin, Mike, and myself, Eric, sorry. Just because I don't know if you're actually...
I won't be playing it.
Yeah, I won't be playing it. But all of a sudden, we're all just running into a town together, and we can like visit the shops and do different things. I hope it's not just literally we can run into the town, we can't interact with anything. That would be stupid. So assuming we can still interact with stuff, like that just sounds like such a level of gameplay enjoyment that Pokemon has been missing, because it's always sort of hit on the tip of the iceberg of what multiplayer is about. Oh, battles. Oh, trades. Oh, now we added raid battles. Okay. Mm-hmm. But what about the rest of Pokemon? Set battles aside. What about the rest of the game? I'd like to do the rest of the game together. And I don't think we'll be able to complete all the quests together or anything like that. But can we do some of them? Are there some side quests out in the open world that we can do together? I don't know. And I'm excited for that prospect of exploring the world with friends and finding that out, even if my dreams are crushed before the game comes out. We'll see. I don't know. But yes, the exploration with friends and the whole concept of the 3 stories are things I'm super excited for.
I got to give it to you. You mentioned something there that caught my imagination. And it's the when you said you were finding clues and finding things that were left in the field, right? And it made me think about, how about we kind of merge a type of Zelda type of game with Pokemon, where you have to solve something in order to reach an area where you find this type of rare Pokemon. You know what I mean? Like that type of exploration, that type of discovery. You know what I mean? Not just walk around and just, oh, there's one right there. Just look at me. Well, what do you want? Pokeball? Here you go. You know? Have that kind of excitement, and, you know, have like different areas where you have to solve something in order to get somewhere, and then have that reward of being presented with that Pokemon right there to, you know, ready to catch. And then don't make it that easy to catch. Make it a challenge in order for you to, you know, catch that. That way, when you have it, you can show it off, you know, and say, hey, Twitter, got nothing on me, dude.
It'll give me the golden poo Pokemon.
That would be great, dude. If they could actually merge that idea of exploration, of problem solving, like puzzles and stuff, in order to, you know, reap the reward of catching a Pokemon and not just having it out there looking at you like you owe him money, you know?
Yeah, I hear you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome. So
why are we clapping?
he was cheering for himself. He was cheering for himself.
Oh.
Oh, good point, Mike. Good point.
Point,
Yes,
Mike.
yes.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get into our last topic we got. And this is just general thoughts on how we feel the Switch is doing here through this first half of 2022. We did have their most recent financial report. There were just some notes from that. You know, we're now at 111.08 million Switches sold to date, or I should say shipped if you want to be correct. But for Nintendo, shipped is sold because that means retailers bought it from them already. So they already got their money. It don't matter if it's still on the shelf. Nintendo already got paid for it. So for those who don't know how retail works. So Nintendo, for their purposes, has sold 111.08 million Switches. Kirby and the Forgotten Land, we have the sales update for that. It's up to 4.5 million sales. It is now the second best-selling Kirby game of all time. It's only behind Kirby's Dream Land, which sold 5.13 million units. Fun thing is, it's probably going to, by the end of this holiday season, have already passed that. At least it's well on pace, too. It's well on pace, too.
I love Kirby, so yay.
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is like 46 point something million, and
Yeah.
It's a beast. The crazy thing about that game, besides obviously we all know that they got the DLC now and Wave 2 is dropping here literally the day after this podcast goes up. Dude, besides this being a Wii U game ported over, we mentioned how like Pokemon, this one's like themed around Spain. The upcoming one, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is now 1 million copies sold, short of it being more than the number of people who live in Spain.
Yeah, you put it on the notes. I was like, what the heck?
Yeah, isn't that insane?
Ay.
Like by the end of this year, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe will have sold more copies than people who live in a really big country. So that's insane. So that was just to put in perspective how popular.
That's a lot of fire parts around. Jesus.
Anyways, so that's just some fun notes. You can go through all the other sales data and see all the sales update numbers and stuff. Like the 1.91 million that I think sold the Mario Strikers for launch and all that stuff. But what I actually just want to get are kind of how we feeling from January to today about Nintendo Switch just this year. Just taking this 2022 and only talking about this, not taking the full scope of the 5+ years the system's been out. How we feeling about the Switch right now? And let's go to Justin for this first one.
I'm feeling okay. I really liked Legends. I bought Kirby but didn't get a chance to actually play it. And then I was really looking forward to the Switch Sports and Mario Strikers, but Switch Sports didn't have golf on it. And I just don't think it still has golf, so I didn't pick it up. And then
Maybe
Mario
December.
Strikers released so little content at launch. I didn't really want to pick that up until we started getting some of the updates for it. I mean, Bayonetta looks really good. Pokemon looks really good. The back half is going to look really good. But as of right now, I think I've only played like 2 games on my Switch this year. I picked up Live Alive and Xenoblade, but I haven't gotten Xenoblade in the mail yet, so I haven't played it.
You're not the
And
only
Live
one.
Alive,
I've seen a number of
just
people
got
who
the-
haven't gotten it yet.
And mine
The special
shipped
edition.
on Friday, or it said it was supposed to ship Friday, and then it just kept getting delayed, and now it's delayed till Thursday.
Jeez,
It gets delayed like every couple days.
that's fun. Isn't shipping fun?
Gotta love it.
So feeling all right? Just all right about everything so far?
Just alright. I think most of the games that I skipped or haven't had a chance to play yet are probably really good, like Kirby and Xenoblade. But having not played them, I can't give my opinion on them.
Well,
So
you know
for
what you
the
can do
couple
until
games I've
Xenoblade
played,
gets
they're
here.
good.
Play some Kirby.
Yeah, I should. Instead, I started playing Spider-Man again.
That's all right. That's all right. Which one?
That one's good.
Which
It's
one?
a good game.
The remaster for PS5.
Okay, the remaster one. Did you play Miles Morales at all?
I did on the PS4 when it first came out. I just got a PS5 at the last year. So when I bought this one, I just had to go back to the first one, and then I'm gonna play Miles again.
Nice. Cool. Excellent games, by the way. So let's go to Eric. Let's jump around a little bit here. How you feeling about this year on Switch so far to date?
You know, it was one of those that was hyped massively, mainly because of one game, and then it lost it. So it
Are you talking about Strikers?
no, yes.
This is about how you feel. I don't know.
No, no. Breath of the Wild 2.
But it wasn't coming first half of this year, anyways.
Huh? No, I know,
Right.
but it was supposed to come this year. We were talking about this year.
What we're talking about this year up to now,
Oh,
not
sorry.
the rest of this
My
year.
misunderstanding.
Boo,
Yeah,
hey,
there we
boo.
go.
'Cause-
Just to frame the conversation.
No, I know.
We can
Yeah.
flip
'Cause
turn it to the rest of
2022.
Yeah, no, we'll
Obviously.
recap 2022
Yeah.
at the end of 2022.
Gotcha. Fair enough. So, I mean, up to this point, Kirby I've absolutely loved. I got
Amen.
into Arceus. Still want to get back to it, but again, finding time and yes,
And
just
leaving
playing
your
it
Switch here.
and leaving my Switch here, and yeah, my brain is just mush at points. Yeah, I think it was okay, solid, not overly exciting, but solid.
Okay. I guess I'll go next year. Since I always end up going last, I feel like it's kind of a dick move. No, it's my show, but don't always go last. So I think this year was, you gotta think of like all the games that we got. I mean, if you just look at, mostly system exclusive games, you end up obviously with Legends Arceus and Kirby, Switch Sports, Mario Strikers, Fire Emblem, Three Hopes, the Warriors game, not Three Hopes, sorry, Fire Emblem Warriors, Three Hopes, and Live Alive, Xenoblade 3. It's a pretty good lineup. I think the one thing missing is a big seller outside of January. But it's hard for me to be mad about that when we have Splatoon 3 coming up. That's going to end up being a big seller. Another Pokemon game coming up, that's going to be a big seller. So I think that it was actually probably one of the better first halves. Like when I think back to like 2019, there was hardly anything to play in the first half. But everyone remembers 2019 fondly because 2019 had a banger final 5 months of the year, which just hit after hit after hit after hit. So people remember 2019 fondly, forgetting that it didn't really start that strong. And 2018, for the most part, was kind of a dry year, but people remember it fondly because it ended with Super Smash Brothers. So sometimes people remember a year for how it ended and forget how everything started. And I do think Switch
That's
had
a
a
nice quote.
I think there was a really nice start to this year. Clearly, Legends Arceus. No one's even talking about it right now, and that was such a great start to the year. And Kirby, I think, was a really, really interesting start. But it feels weird because since those couple of games, a lot of games have sort of felt like letdowns. Like Switch Sports could be more than it is, but it's not. So it just kind of feels like it's halfway there. Mario Strikers, amazing gameplay, still just kind of feels like it's halfway there. It's just not quite as good as it probably should be. But then we get to the last couple of releases. The Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes game. It's actually pretty good. People aren't really talking about it,
Yeah,
but it's
really
actually
good.
pretty good. Live Alive was a really good game
Yeah.
back in the day, and everyone's saying it's a really good game right now. Xenoblade Chronicles 3, one of the highest rated games of the year. So they kind of came back around to releasing a bunch of really, really high quality games on Switch. And when I say they, I just mean all game developers. I'm not just focused on just Nintendo. So it kind of feels like so far it's been sort of an up and down first half, but it almost feels like there's probably been more ups than downs. So I would honestly say this is not as good as like the first half of 2017, which how are you going to beat Zelda and Splatoon and Mario Kart and all that? Like at the first, like that's just, I'm sorry, that's an insane start to any year. I don't know that we'll ever have a start quite like that. But when I looked at all the other years, like the start of 2018 wasn't that great. The start to 2019 wasn't that great. The start to 2020, I mean, it's Animal Crossing. And then does anyone remember anything else that came out? Probably not.
There's probably a lot of games I just can't remember.
2021, we had Bowser's Fury. And then now there's other games, of course. Because 2021, someone's going to mention, how did you not say Monster Hunter Rise? I know. It's just on PC now. That's why it's sort of a mental block if it's no longer technically an exclusive. But, I mean, it's a console exclusive. So, I kind of look at it as I feel like we've had a stronger, maybe the strongest first half since launch year. So it's hard for me to really complain too much about it. when there's that many exclusives in the first half of the year. I don't know any other platform. Is there any other platform besides PC with a bunch of indie exclusives getting that many exclusives in the first half of the year? And it's a wide variety of games. Like they're touching on like everything. You have your super hardcore JRPG. You got your HD 2D, kind of friendly JRPG. You got your family style RPG. So there's your 3 big RPGs with Pokemon Legends Arceus. Then you have your really cool, fun platformer, kind of cutesy platformer in Kirby that ends up being maybe the best Kirby game of all time. Then you got your family sports games fitting in there with Switch Sports and your Mario Strikers. Then you got your hardcore hack and slash with Fire Emblem Warriors, Three Hopes. Like they're not hitting every genre, but they hit quite a few of them at the start of the year. So
TMNT
and TMNT and all the, and by the way,
Triangle Strategy too at the beginning,
Triangle Strategy as well.
Of the year.
So I wasn't really getting it. Like TMNT is not exclusive, so I wasn't really getting into that. Yeah. But
it's on Switch.
Yes. There's a lot of good games on Switch.
Affect the
So, and I know we often focus on the exclusives, but there's a lot of third party games as well. Yeah, we didn't get Elden Ring. I know. What do you want me to do about it? I don't work for them. I don't make those decisions. But what I will say is this is a really strong first half of the year. I find as much as I might have been critical about individual games, I also praised individual games. I've been doing nothing but praising Xenoblade 3. I haven't said a bad thing about Legends Arceus in ages. It's nothing but positivity. Kirby, I don't think I have a bad thing I can say about Kirby other than I want more of it.
Right.
Announce some DLC.
Right.
I love this so much. I want more. So I don't really have every game I'm critical of, there's all these other games I praise. So, and I can tell you this, for the last 6 months, I have been playing more Switch games than I have at any other period in Switch's life other than 2017. So I would say that makes this a pretty big W in my book. Like this is a pretty good first half of the year. Now, my problem is I'm so biased that I say this assuming that Breath of the Wild 2 comes out in spring next year. I won't need any other game. And that'll automatically be my favorite 6-month period just because I got that. But again, that's always the super fan bias for one particular IP. I realize not everyone's going to want to play that. So then is that really a strong first half if it's all they have? No, I'm sure Nintendo might have other games too, but I don't know. That's just my kind of thoughts on that. Do you have anything else you want to add, Eric, before we move on? No? Okay. I know you're doing some research over there. All right. Let's go to Mike. What are your thoughts on this first half of 2022?
Well, you hit most of my points, but I'm going to go ahead and add more stuff. Basically, in my opinion, I think it's been a fire year, half of a year. Why? Because it's been one of the most diverse years when it comes to game releases that I've seen in a long time. Okay, everybody got their fix when it comes to what RPGs or adventure or Kirby type of games, platformers. I think that it's been a very good year for everybody. I mean, starting a year with Pokemon and then ending it with Pokemon. You know what I mean? Pokemon fans have to be happy with that. Even Triangle Strategy was pretty good. And then Switch Sports, believe it or not, I loved it. And I know it's not for everybody because people tend to be picky and they tend to compare. But coming from a family, I played with my family, with my girls. They loved it. They had the same exact experience they did with the Wii, and it's still a Friday night game here in the game room. So to me, that's a winner. Mario Strikers, I didn't get at all. Didn't even bother. But still, again, speaking for those who
that's why you're not in my club.
Yeah. Speaking for those who did and really did enjoy it, I'm not gonna stand here and say, oh, just because I didn't get it. Somebody out there, that's somebody's favorite game. You know what I mean? So it's been a very diverse, very good half of a year. Okay, and then of course the second half looks even better. I mean, I think I'm happy with the year. I have nothing really bad to say about the year at all. I wasn't even upset when they after they announced Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, when they delayed Breath of the Wild. Like, it's expected. Look at this year. At the beginning of the year, we were looking at this. And Eric, we were looking at this lineup like, what the heck is going on this year? the lineup is good, right?
Mhm.
And halfway through, yeah, our opinions kind of vary depending on what game comes out and how they're received. But to me, it's still a pretty banger year. It's still I mean half of a year, and I have nothing but good things to say about it. To me, the diversity in games is great because at the end, Nintendo is appealing to the masses instead of just to one certain crowd, you know. And yeah, I mean, I give it maybe an A. Yeah, I'm not gonna give it A plus, but I'll give it an A for the first half of the year.
There you go. Mandy?
Oh, okay. So the best for last.
Heck
I
yeah.
think
Well, I don't think we
the
gotten adjusted yet, so I don't know about.
oh oh
Let's.
I did go.
wait what?
Yeah, he started.
He
best
did.
for
Oh
almost
yeah,
last.
he started it. Sorry, it was like a half hour ago,
And I was
so
the
I
only one
forgot. I
voting for
forgot. See, someone's
Not a
paying
real-
attention.
Yeah.
Everyone but me apparently is
Yeah.
paying attention. I'm drunk. I'm going home. Wait, I am. Wait.
Yeah, right. Wait, you
All right, go on.
go ahead, Mandy.
Well, I think the Switch lineup has been very, very good. Like I've never had a point where I had nothing to play. It's just nonstop, and I like a variety of games. So I'm just having fun with the games. I mean, the only downside is it's expensive, like really expensive, but the games have been really good. I've been enjoying a lot of them. And I knew Breath of the Wild was probably going to be delayed, and it needs time, but we have other bangers, and we like Monster Hunter Rise, and then the Sunbreak DLC. That was really good, took up a lot of my time. So I've been having fun, like having so much fun with the Switch lately, and I've made more time to play it instead of just like talking about games, like I can actually play it. So, yeah, I've been having a good time. Can't wait for the future.
Nice. Nice. Yeah. Yeah. The future. The unknown.
Now the known unknown.
Delays.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, we know it's in the near future. Just like if they actually come as
like what did Joycey J say like many streams ago? Hey, you know what? I got breaking news for you on Breath of the Wild 2. It's going to come out someday.
Hey, there you go. Right? Yeah.
Hey.
Same for every game you guys are excited for out there. Supposedly will come someday until it doesn't, like Scalebound. Ugh. I don't even know why I brought that game up. It just makes me angry. So we start going over every possible cancel game that's ever been. No, I'm just getting mad.
Dread came out.
Yeah, Dread finally
eventually came out.
Metroid Dread finally came out. Yeah, that is correct. We did finally get it. So you know what? Even the dead can come back sometimes. So never say never. I mean, technically, we got The Last Guardian, which was a dead game for a long time too. So I mean, you know what? Never say never. That's right. Snowboard kids, baby. Never say never.
I'm gonna predict the Breath of the Wild 2 release date.
Oh, here we go.
Okay.
You guys know what I'm gonna say, right?
Someday.
You're just gonna say someday.
No, I'm gonna say this the same exact date and hour to the minute.
Well, I mean, the hour doesn't really matter.
To me, it matters
Why does
Go
it
for
matter?
Minute?
Go for it.
because
What do you
I
got?
wanna
What do you
be-
got?
We're at Walmart
All right,
at
no,
midnight.
I predict that Breath of the Wild 2 is gonna come out exclusively on the Nintendo Switch.
Oh.
That's my first prediction.
Okay.
My second
Whoa.
prediction.
Whoa.
My second prediction that Breath of the Wild 2 is coming out on March 3rd,
Because it's a Friday.
2023.
Because it's Friday. It's an
Because
anniversary
it's
and it's a
exactly 1
Friday,
year-
so it seems
exactly
yeah.
1 year.
Yeah.
Exactly 1 year to Breath of the Wild, the first game. I mean, they cannot miss that opportunity. Literally, it's not spring. Yeah, it's not technically not spring yet, right?
Yeah.
Still not.
Yeah,
Not, well,
you're predicting they're going to release it before spring. That's bold.
Yeah, I mean, have to, man. They have to.
Have
The butts.
Have to kick their butts. I'm thinking more like the 24th, but
So,
March.
is that also on Friday?
yes, and it's technically in spring, and it would be the final. Well, not the final Friday of their fiscal year, but the final one they can get a full weekend of sales in.
You want to make a bet?
A bet?
If you win,
We
I'll
already have it
buy
right
you the
now.
game. I buy you the game. If you win, you buy it from me.
But I might want that collector's edition, bud. So,
Pushing too hard, man.
well, I'm just saying that.
Is there
It's
gonna
not
be a
pushing. See, it's not pushing too far because I'm
Yeah,
literally going to
is
buy the
there?
collector's edition.
But is there going to be a collector's edition of Breath of the Wild?
More than
I
likely.
guarantee.
More
you.
than likely.
Probably.
No. So what it is you buy
We have it for Bayonetta for
you
crying out loud.
buy one to give away at the other channel.
That works too.
Yeah, there we go.
So that way you can buy your
Yeah, I
collector's
can buy the
edition,
collector's edition, and but he
but
could buy one I
you
give
can
away.
buy one for you to give away, or you can buy one for
Or
him
I
to give
mean,
away.
he could just buy it and I never open the collector's edition, keep it mint,
No.
keep it mint, and resell it in like 10 years for like $10,000 or something. Nah, it's all right because I'll probably unbox the damn thing on my
Right.
channel, so it won't really matter. I have to buy two
Well,
of them.
we get upgrade to collector's edition. You can do that. Well, it's only like $100, right? $100.
We have no idea.
Yeah, we
actually.
don't know.
It could be
But-
crazy price. The one that came with the Master Sword statue last time was pretty expensive. But yeah, it's all about. I don't remember what that was at launch. I think the ones that we got
Yeah.
were 100,
Yeah.
and then they had like a $150 or $200 one. I can't remember, but they have very limited quantities of that
Yeah.
one, so we couldn't get it. But anyways, there'll probably be some sort of collector's edition. Watch. It's a system bundle collector's edition.
Dude, that would be crazy, man.
That dude,
That would be
I'd be all on
insane.
top of that. I would buy it, but damn.
An
That would be insane.
OLED Switch.
Or another console.
Oh.
Yeah, buddy. That's all I know. Any sort
At
of
that point in time, I
themed
probably would
anything.
break down and actually buy one.
Yes. I mean, just
man.
because
I'll buy it.
I'll never sell it. It'll
Yeah.
just be a collector's system. I mean, I'll use it, but it'll be a collector's system once I'm done using it. It's just gonna sit on a shelf looking pretty. Or maybe, do I dare destroy it? I was gonna say I could pour the not take it apart. build like a little end table, and then you pour the stuff into it,
Oh,
like
yeah, the
like Logan
resin.
Paul did
Yeah.
with the Game Boys that everyone got mad about. Although turns out, so he claims, all those Game Boys were broken, but I don't know if they actually were. Now, like, what are you gonna do? Go break his resin table and find out?
Right, yeah.
Go commit a crime. I mean, bottom line is you can do whatever you want with your own stuff, as much as it might pain people. I mean, I sledgehammered a PlayStation 3 that played PlayStation 2 games on live stream, and it still worked, and people got really mad at me about it. So,
Was it worth it?
yes.
It was. The feeling probably was.
Yes. You gotta understand, it was a culmination of it was a long live stream where I was putting liquid metal on the Xbox Series X, and I successfully did it. Now there was extra screws that I forgot where they went, but it worked, and it worked for a long time after. And I ended up selling it. And I told the person I sold it to, by the way, I put liquid metal on this. I'm just letting you know. You're going to have to change that liquid
okay.
metal in like a year because liquid metal doesn't last that long. So I'm just letting you know. But it's going to have insane thermals until then.
Yeah.
And he's like, can I put thermal paste back on it? I'm like, well, you could try. I don't know. The liquid metal might have ate away at the heat sink. I can't get. I told the guy, I cannot guarantee you that in a year this will still work. Or without replacing the heat sink at least. Because it could eat away at the heat sink. And it was a copper heat sink, so it should be okay. But I can't guarantee it, right? Like, it wasn't built for liquid metal.
And there may be 3 or 4 screws missing.
Yes. No, I sent him the screws. I sent him the screws.
yeah.
I said, hey, and when you take it apart, here's the screws. If you actually use a guide, I didn't use a guide, so
figure out where they go.
So here you go. But anyways, in celebration of it working, I smashed the plate, and they're like, "Why?" I'm like, I don't know. This thing sucks. Okay, just because it works, it would take so long to get into a game. The controllers I had for it didn't work unless you had them plugged in. And the thing ran like a jet engine and would heat a room faster than... Look, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 computers running in this room. Crap load of monitors. I don't even want to count them all.
right.
Mobile devices. And I'm telling you,
Camera.
the one PlayStation 3 just running a movie would heat us out of this room. We'd have to leave the room.
Yeah.
We'd be sweating. We'd have to leave.
Hilarious.
So I'm sorry. I had frustrations with the system already. So I just said, screw it. And I knew I was going to get a PS5 someday, which I did. So yeah, I don't know. It just, in hindsight, knowing the scarcity of the PlayStation 2 playable version. Probably shouldn't have done that. Probably should have instead took it apart and seen if just cleaning it would have made it quieter.
Yeah.
Because that probably would have
Or
fixed it.
sold it.
Or I could have just replaced the fan and put a quieter fan on.
Or sold it.
Or sold it. I mean, I probably could have got good money for it since they didn't make them anymore.
Meh.
Could have gave it away. A lot of people on the channel wanted me to give it away.
Your, PS5
No,
back.
don't give it to me! Give it to me! Look at all you e-baggers. They call me an e-bagger.
Yeah, right.
No, I'm gonna sledge it!
Oh my god.
I let out some real anger.
Yeah.
And then the funny thing is I broke my sledgehammer. Now the end doesn't stay on anymore. So now I gotta get a new sledgehammer. Actually, no. I probably should just fix it. But anyways, that's how my PlayStation 3 died. It's not because I hate Sony, just to clarify. I was also drunk. So we got to throw that out. So that was the thing. People kept buying me shots because I do shots on my live streams, and they kept buying me shots to see how bad I'd mess up my Xbox. Because the fun story is most of the chat hated Xbox. Mm-hmm. So they wanted me to ruin it. And I didn't. So I celebrated by ruining the PlayStation. It would have only been better if I would have grabbed a Switch and sledged that instead. Yeah? Yeah?
Oh
You guys hate Xbox so much? Well, I did it! Now let's kill my Switch!
Switch.
I had other Switches too, so like it wouldn't have even been that big of a deal if I would have broken it. But anyways. That's a fun little story to end the stream. A little bit of story time. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. You can find links to all of our podcast guests. Mike, we got something Yoda. What is it again?
Unhelpful Yoda.
Unhelpful Yoda. That's what it is. I was about to say unhidden Yoda, and I'm like, wait a second.
That's not it.
Wait a second. That don't sound right. So Unhelpful Yoda, you can find his channel's linked down below as well. Very small content creator. Go help him out. I watched a couple of his videos today, and you know what? Not bad.
He is helpful.
Not bad. I actually am probably going to watch another one before I go to bed. I'm strangely enjoying this new YouTube channel. You can also find MandyLeePlays down there as well. For our two guests, you want to tell them a little bit about what you guys do at your channel? For those who might not know.
I'm a Nintendo channel, and I do videos on Nintendo games, some reviews, top 10s or top 5s. I also live stream on the weekends. So, yeah. Oh, so subscribe to MandyLeePlays. Why do I always feel so awkward saying that?
Subscribe, like, and
So many
subscribe.
times.
Let's get her to 50,000 subscribers. Let's go.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't. Well, no.
All right, Justin, want to tell them a little bit about what you do?
I kind of just make videos on whatever I feel like that week.
Hell
I
yeah.
usually post on a Monday. Mostly games, but sometimes it's manga or anime or something. You can subscribe at Unhelpful Yoda. Appreciate it. I get like 10 views a video, so 11 or 12 views would be fantastic.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, go check it out, guys. All right. Well, you guys have a good rest of your night. All of our listeners do as well. You can catch our podcast everywhere the podcasts are heard. We're on literally all of the major, podcast applications, including Apple, Google, Spotify. Those are like the three big ones, but there's a few other ones we're on as
Did we
well.
go for iHeart? iHeart? Did we?
We are not on iHeart, no.
Yeah.
iHeartRadio.
No, we're not on iHeartRadio. No. Maybe someday, but we're not on there. We might also be on XM Radio someday.
Oh.
But we're not yet.
Someday.
We're not
One
yet.
day.
I have some connections to get there, but we got to have a bit of a significantly bigger audience.
Got invited.
And you got to be invited.
Oh, yeah.
That, and you can find our video version of the podcast after if you're listening to the audio version, you can find it at the Nintendo Prime Podcast YouTube channel. Just type Nintendo Prime Podcast into YouTube search and it'll pop up. I'll also put a link to it down in the audio description. If you are watching the live version or you're watching the live version after the fact, just know that this version will not stay live the moment that I actually get it uploaded over to the other channel. What you get in the benefits of the upload over there is you actually get the podcast intro, you get the podcast outro. You also typically get timestamps for the topics. And on top of that, you actually get it where everyone's audio is perfectly leveled. Because even though I have this whole setup here, and it makes things easier. I still go through and just double check the levels so we're all even. So as an example, if there was a moment that Justin might have been a little bit quiet, that'll be taken care of. There were some moments that Eric was a little bit quiet, that'll be taken care of. If anyone started peaking randomly, that'll get taken care of as well. And I know there was something happening with Eric, and I know what was happening. I'll talk to him about it off the live though. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Like and subscribe, obviously, at Nintendo Prime. Eric, they can find you on Twitter.
Yeah, emo8790.
That's it.
But yeah,
That's it. So the only place you can find him. Mike, where can they find you?
They can find me at Mike Odyssey, Mike Odyssey YT, and Mike Odyssey YT on social media. And also at Nintopics podcast
Yeah.
every end of the month. So go catch the latest podcast with the voice actress of Rosalina. She's also the voice actress of Genshin Impact. I forgot that name.
That's so cool.
Yeah, Genshin Impact, Rosalina, and others. So go ahead and check that out on also any podcast channels as well.
Nice.
That's where I'm at.
Nice.
And I'm here, Nintendo Prime, bugging Nate on the chat. So yeah.
Yeah,
you
all
can
the
catch me
time.
in
He's trolling me all the time. What was it you were doing today while I was live streaming Pokemon again?
I was reacting to Nate reacting to Pokemon. That was hilarious. Yeah, I reacted to the video, but then I ended it up and I gave my opinion, but then I switched to react to Nate's reaction, and I was also lip syncing on Nate.
Of course you were.
Let's see what else I was doing. Yeah, we're in the chat. We're having fun with Nate. Just kind of trying to see what he was saying. We put it on mute, and he was like moving his hand and all this movement stuff, and then we just kind of filled in the blanks.
Oh my
was
god.
a lot of beeping.
So
and a lot of-
basically, he was mocking me for a little
Oh, yeah.
while, and it's all right.
No, we weren't mocking you. We're just reacting to you
React to
reacting.
react.
Yeah, reacting to react to the react.
Inception.
I was like, should I be offended about the react to the react? You know what? We should have really inceptioned it. Well, you should have messaged me that you were reacting to me reacting, so then I could have flipped over and reacted to you reacting to me, reacting to you.
Yeah, well, next time we have a presentation.
Giant circle.
Next time, look, expect it. Next time we have a presentation going on, direct any presentation, expect. I'll react to whatever's reacting, but then I'll react to you reacting to whatever you're reacting to.
Oh my God. It'll be like a never-ending show because, like, how do we stop when we just keep reacting to each other? All right. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. This was episode 61 of the Nintendo Prime Podcast, and we will catch you guys next week, same time, same place, Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Central Live. Otherwise, you can catch it the very next day on all of your on-demand areas, sections, channels.